Death Valley. Runners must endure daytime temperatures reaching over 120 degrees Fahrenheit. More on these stories at townhall.com. I'm John Scott.
As the Elgin Police Department continues to participate in the distracted driving campaign, they wanted to share some tips from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration website regarding safe driving. If you are expecting a text or need to send one, pull over and park your car in a safe location. Once you are safely off the road and parked, it's safe to text. Designate your passenger as your designated texter. Allow them to access your phone to respond to calls or messages. Do not engage in social media scrolling or messaging while driving. Are you struggling not to text and drive? Activate your phone's Do Not Disturb feature or put your cell phone in the trunk, the glove box, or the back seat of your vehicle until you arrive at your destination. Remember, the Elgin Police are conducting directed patrols to enforce distracted driving violations. Just drive and stay safe. A message from our friends at the Elgin Police Department and your friends here at WRMN AM 1410 and 96.7 FM.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Midday Drive with Matt. I'm broadcasting live here from downtown Elgin. Now, this is LA Woman, brought to you by The Doors. Yes. Now, I know what you're thinking. This is not usually what Matt plays on the show. Well, it's a special segment today because I am going to be educated when it comes to quite the history of music. We have here, yours truly, Bill Pellerino. Hello, how are you doing today?
I am fine, thanks. How are you hearing me on this new speaker?
I can hear you perfectly. Okay,
so my name is William Pellerinos. I have the show Four Corners Radio, which Matt is my producer, on Saturdays at 12:05 p.m. right after the Radio Shopping Network. And one of the Four Corners topics that I discuss usually is arts and entertainment, but we've been so backlogged with questions on legal and DUI questions, and we did civil cases last weekend, the weekend before we did domestic violence, divorces. We've talked about water safety, drownings. I'm an ex-sailor. I'm an ex-Navy man. I also volunteer for the USO recently. That's an interesting thing. I volunteer on Thursday nights, and I go to O'Hare Airport. And from all over the nation, recruits are flying in to go to Great Lakes Naval Training Academy for 10 weeks.
Wow.
They have signed up for either 4 or 6 years of their lives, and there's a layover. I help these young men and women get signed up on the USO so they get benefits as they travel the world. I also give them refreshments like water because the buses aren't there waiting for them. There's a 2-3 hour layover.
Okay.
And with this computer fiasco the other day, they were there for a long time at O'Hare Airport.
Wow.
So one of the topics I wanted to talk about was arts and entertainment, but we just haven't gotten into it, and the show only runs till September. So Matt was kind enough. He told me, you're a local music historian, arts and entertainment historian, why don't you come on? So, and no offense against Matt, but he was just never exposed to some of this music. And what we're going to start off is talking about Jim Morrison and the Doors.
Yes.
The Doors had many big hits from 1965 to 1973. Their lead singer was Jim Morrison, a very, very talented man that had some serious alcohol issues and some personal demons, and he was dead by age 27. It's a tragic story, but they formed the band in Los Angeles in 1965, and they had a certain sound to them, and you could tell by that sound from L.A. Woman. They also had other songs, This Is the End, that was featured in the beginning of Apocalypse Now. If you saw Apocalypse Now, it began with the helicopters burning the jungle, and the song was featured in that. If you've seen that 1987 vampire flick, People Are Strange, or The Lost Boys, rather, they play their song People Are Strange in it. A lot of movies have used their songs as part of their films. Their songs live forever, even though the band tried to go on without Jim Morrison, but it only lasted 3 years, but the songs go on. L.A. Woman was their final album together with Jim Morrison. That was him singing, and it's a tragic story, but towards the end of his life, he had been arrested on stage in Miami, supposedly for indecent exposure. His live stage shows were kind of out of hand, and it took a 2-year court case to resolve. After that, he just gave up on singing. They recorded one album, and then he went to Paris to live. And he ended up being found dead in a bathtub. And they said the cause of death was a heart attack related to alcohol abuse. So there was no autopsy, so we'll never, ever, ever be certain. But what we can be certain of is that he's gone, but his music lives on. And the Doors, remember that. That's great. I'm going to have you play 2 more songs.
Okay, nice.
Before we go, but our phone lines are open, right?
Yes, the phone lines are open. Feel free to comment in live here, 847-931-1410. Yes, a special edition here of the Midday Drive with Matt. And we've got here, of course, Bill Pellerinos, who is also educating me a little bit more on some of the, would you consider them classics?
I would say, I've read on the internet that many people that grew up during that time consider music scene of the 60s and the 70s the best music that ever has been laid. You grew up with music, so you grew up in the 2000s or whenever, so that was your era.
Right.
But if you go back to the 60s and 70s where I was growing up, I was listening to even older music because I liked all sorts of music. I really liked rock and roll. I liked Motown. Are you familiar with Motown?
I know the name.
Motown was founded by Berry Gordy, an African-American who had African-American artists, and he gave a lot of them their first breaks. And Diana Ross and the Supremes. What else?
Was it Jackson 5 involved in that too?
I can't say for sure, but they're more pop rock.
Okay.
But they might be. I'm going to have to do a whole episode on Motown. But I wasn't prepared for that. Today I prepared for the Doors and 60s music. But let's start with the Doors, Jim Morrison. If anybody's got any questions or comments, or if you like that type of music, and the Doors have a certain sound to them. I mean, they're almost like ballads, but musical ballads almost without words. You were playing L.A. Woman. The first minute is that musical intro. It just doesn't start off with the words, which way the wind blows. It has a long intro, and I like that. A lot of groups do that. Some 70s groups that did a similar thing was Boston. Are you familiar with Boston? No, we're going to have to do 70s music in the future.
I have to say, though, it seems like, there was a drastic change in music once you get from the 50s to the 60s.
Yes.
I would say that, really changed.
Especially rock and roll. The breakthrough guy, and a lot of other groups have said it, a lot of British invasion groups have said it, was Elvis Presley. He was the pioneer. He broke out, and the group The Zombies, which we'll talk about, they credit Elvis Presley in motivating them to get together as a band and saying, hey, this is what we want to do. We want to make music. And in England, they just found Elvis fantastic, you know. Mm-hmm. And Elvis was also a troubled soul later on in his life with prescription drug abuse. And this is something I talk about on my show, drug and alcohol abuse. Folks, you cannot fall in that pit. Mm-hmm. Even with prescription drugs, you have drugs that'll say take one every 8 hours. You have to follow it. You don't pop two. You don't pop three.
Right.
It's one every 8 hours, especially these painkillers. Many people have been addicted to painkillers. Mm-hmm. And they can try to blame the pharmaceutical companies, but I'm sorry, if you don't follow the instructions, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, if I take a knife and stab somebody, that wasn't the instructions or the intent of the Ginsu knife company. You know what I mean? Their intent was to slice, food and veggies. You know.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
But if you misuse any product, it's on you.
Exactly. Yeah. It's all, you know. Everyone has the choice to make, and I agree. Yeah. Totally.
Yeah. So with that being said, are phone lines open?
Oh, the phone lines are absolutely open. 847-931-1410. People can also comment on YouTube as well. YouTube.com/WRMN Radio if you'd like to be a part of the conversation with us.
You know, I want to just take a side note here just to let people, because you also host the Radio Shopping Club.
I do. That's every Saturday, 8 to 12 is when I do
But you've got some tickets to this Oshkosh Air Show. Now, that starts actually tomorrow night. So if anybody wants to go that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, if you come Saturday morning, by the time you drive to Oshkosh, you're looking at a 4-hour drive. Mm-hmm. So Matt's going to be here tomorrow at the Redemption Center. What time?
Yeah, it's 12 to 3. So if you want to stop by and get these EAA AirVenture, feel free to. Absolutely. And, we'll work out a little pricing on that, too, a little further discount.
Right, you know what? That includes parking on those. So that's parking and 4 passes. Mm-hmm. And I think the retail price is like $120, right? Take a look at it.
It's a $265 value family 4-pack.
$265 value.
Yep.
But you were selling it last week for how much?
It was, it's in the system at $129.
At $129, but being so close, you could do a little better.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So if you guys want to go to this air show, this is a big thing every year. My buddy's driving out there. He's leaving Friday morning to go out there, and it's like a 3-4 hour drive between here and Oshkosh, or between Schaumburg and Oshkosh, where he's at. Mm-hmm. You know, we have a lot of listeners in the Schaumburg, Elk Grove area. We have a big following down there. We talk about Elgin because we're based here, but we have a really big following in Schaumburg and Elk Grove. I get a lot of text messages. And if you're listening to strictly AM radio, our signal is very sharp out there. It starts to weed off around Rosemont. So, but I've sat in the flea market, the Rosemont, and listened to this Sunday show early in the mornings.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and sometimes I go even earlier and listen to Coast AM with George Norrie.
Coast to Coast, yes.
Yeah, AM. UFOs, Bigfoot.
I know, you told me you like all of that stuff, too.
Yeah, I get into it. You know, I don't worry about Bigfoot coming over by my house. Uh-huh. I worry about where the catalytic converter thieves coming on my driveway.
Oh, goodness, yeah.
They did it to me. They hit me 2 years ago.
No way. Oh.
Yeah. But you know what? I got State Farm. You want to steal a converter, steal a converter. You want to take the car, take the car. I could care less. I don't worry about the small stuff. My wife goes, "What are you doing?" I was sitting, "I'm waiting for the tow truck." "What for?" "They took our catalytic converter," I said. I called AAA. The tow was free. I pay like $210 a year for AAA. The best thing since sliced bread. My daughter gets a flat tire. She don't know how to change the tire.
Yeah.
Trust me, she don't know how to change the tire. So she calls him up, and it was funny. The day after I bought it, she had a flat in the rain. Can you believe that?
Oh, goodness.
Talk about luck.
Yeah.
But I got AAA for all my cars, and I just give you some few tips and clues here. We're getting a little off topic, but if it can help you, trust me, at the worst possible time, at the worst possible place, the worst possible thing will happen. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you a quick story. My son was on basketball teams for a church league. The Greek churches are fanatics for basketball. They travel. They've traveled in leagues. They go to Canada, Detroit. So I was heading from Chicago to Michigan for a competition with my son. All of a sudden, we start hearing bum, 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 bum. And I'm on the highway. And I said, "What is that, Alexander?" Oh, he looks out. Rear flat tire, and we had a GMC Yukon, big truck. So I said, I'm going to pull to the far right. So I pulled to the far right, it's a flat tire. I go to change it. Well, my rod, I couldn't get out from behind. It was rusted out, so I couldn't change it. So I called the AAA. They said, they were coming, but I was on the Indiana-Michigan border. I was within the last mile.
Okay.
Indiana trooper pulls up. I said, hey, they're going to take a long time. They're very busy today. Can you get me one of those Minutemen to help me change a tire? He goes, in this last mile, you're like in a twilight zone. Michigan won't come out because it's the state of Indiana, but Indiana Minutemen don't come out that far in that last mile or two outside.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so I was in the twilight zone of the highway system of the state of Indiana.
Oh, boy.
So I finally got AAA out there, and they changed it to put the little spare tire on. But you're not supposed to drive with that forever. I've seen cars on the highway. First of all, that tire says not to be driven over 50 miles an hour. And you're not supposed to – it's just to get you to your – wherever you're trying to get to the tires plus or wherever you're going to change tire. The closest thing for me out there was a Walmart. But even with them changing the tire, it was like a 2-hour wait.
Yeah, that's a long time.
Yeah, any place you go to get tires, you're sitting there for 2 hours. Bring your iPad, bring a book, a long book, maybe War and Peace.
Well, you'll have to get me started into getting back into the paper book.
I got one for you, but I'm having the author sign it to you.
Oh, thank you.
He's doing it tonight. I have it for you on Saturday.
Cool. Nice.
So being an author myself, I know a few authors. I've done some circuits, some signings. I was at Wizard World a few years ago, and I had sci-fi and fantasy authors next to me. And I always support starving artists. So I buy all these books from these other guys.
Yeah.
But I have 2 books out. One of them is called DUIs Decoded, and that's actually my lessons plans as a DUI instructor that I taught at the Academy for Policemen. That book is popular with police officers that work patrol, that do DUI detection, arrests, as well as defense attorneys. Defense attorneys like to read that book. And I also have the penalties in there, so they tell their client, this is a second-time DUI for you. You're going to get your license revoked. You're facing 10 days community service or 240 hours community service or 10 days in jail. I listed the penalties in there. So that book is very popular with defense attorneys. But my new book called DUI Jury Trial is actually a true story. It's a story of a truck driver who got arrested for DUI. And he was facing a lifetime disqualification of his CDL's commercial driver's license. And that penalty would have put him out of business because he could never drive a truck again. So he hired 2 defense attorneys that ended up bringing me as an expert witness. And that case from start to finish was the longest running case I've ever been involved in. And these attorneys also, 3 years. And this was pre-COVID. COVID backed up the legal system. But in pre-COVID times, for a misdemeanor DUI, 3 years is unheard of from date of arrest to date of trial. And we went all the way to a jury trial. And then I won't tell you the outcome. You got to read the book. But in that book, I've also included the transcripts from the actual trial itself. So it reads like a screenplay. Chapter 6 reads like a screenplay. So it's an interesting book. It's written for the average reader. You don't have to be a lawyer or a police officer. There's very little legalese in it. I just threw one chapter in there towards the end about my teachings, how I teach policemen, how I teach lawyers, because on the stand they asked me what your qualifications are, and I said I teach these continuing legal education seminars. So I put my training syllabus in there, but those 2 chapters are at the tail end of the book. But if you read the beginning of the book, it tells the backstory of the truck driver, how the case came about, how I got involved, how the lawyers came about, how they fought the case, how the prosecutors, reacted. And, the penalties were high. They, losing your livelihood, is not, it's a devastating thing because he had just gone through a divorce. He was paying 2 child supports. He was paying the mortgage of his house where him and his father lived at. He was paying for his own equipment. He was driving. without that CDL, and it's happened to a lot of truck drivers, they don't realize the magnitude of how a DUI can ruin your life, really.
Right. Yeah.
So that book is called DUI Jury Trial. It's on Amazon.com right now. It just got published June 12th, and it's on BarnesandNoble.com. If that kind of legal thriller, lighter John Grisham type book interests you, I suggest getting it. Took me 7 months to write it.
Wow.
Yes, and the lawyers put in their little spiel too. They wrote from their aspect, from their personal experience with the case. So I wasn't the only one involved in writing the book. I have 2 attorneys, but we stayed away from legalese, and we just wrote it for plain and simple, the average reader to understand.
That's good. That's good. We do have a caller on hold here.
Go.
All righty. Let's bring it up here. Hi there, caller. You're on with WRMN.
Yes, how are you today?
I'm doing good. How are you today?
Okay, you doing Tradio?
Oh, yes. Let me get the Tradio up here. All right. Ready when you are.
Okay, I have 15 8-foot fluorescent bulbs. I'm looking for $1 a piece for them, or if they want the whole 15, they can have them for $10.
All righty. And then the number to dial.
Yeah, it's 847-697-7876.
All right, so you got 15 8-foot fluorescent bulbs for sale, $1 a piece, or all of them for $10.
Yep.
Very nice.
And then I also have 15 4-foot light fixtures with the plastic lens that covers it. They're 2-bulb, and they will have the bulbs with them. And I'm looking at $20 a piece for them.
All right, so we've got
best offer.
Or best offer. All right, good to put that message down there as well. So let me make sure I get all that information here with that number 847-697-7876.
Yep.
All right, you're all set unless you wanted to add anything else.
No, that's it for now.
All right, thanks again for calling in today.
Okay, have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye now.
Bye.
All right, we have a Tradio caller number 1 today. He's got here 15, total of 15, 8-foot fluorescent bulbs. $1 a piece, or if you want all 10 of them. Oh, no, wait. 15. Okay, so 10 for all of them. All of them put together as 15. So you get, get a little extra special steal of a deal that way. And then also he has 15 4-foot light fixtures with the casing on it. 2 bulbs with the bulbs that come with it. So it's 2 bulbs, the light fixtures, and it comes with the bulbs, 20 a piece or best offer. Feel free to give him a call. That number is 847-697-7876. Again, 847-697-7876. It is 3:28. We are going to take a quick time out here, but we'll be back with more of the Midday Drive with Matt as well as Bill here in just a bit. Stay tuned.
Do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Are you being audited or investigated? Has the IRS sent you a letter demanding payment? You may not owe what they claim. Make this free call to the tax doctor now. Let them negotiate with the IRS on your behalf.
800-234-0316. 800-234-0316. That's 800-234-0316.
As grocery prices rise, take your family out to any of the Tommy's Red Hots location for great food at unbelievably low prices. There's 6 locations to serve you for both dine-in or carry-out. Tommy's has a diverse, delicious menu for you and your family with crispy pizzas, sandwiches, salads, and their famous hot dogs, plus so much more. Don't forget their scrumptious sides like mac and cheese bites. To see their menu and locations, visit Tommy'sRedHots.com today.
WRMN says thank you to all of our local veterans, like Jerry Christofferson of True Patriots Care.
We had the 1,700 flags up across from the wall. That's how many POWs and MIAs from Vietnam are still missing. Plus, we do veterans and first responders funerals.
Yeah.
And so if you ever drive by a funeral home or a church or a cemetery and you see the flags, you know a soldier died today.
Go to TruePatriotsCare.com for more information. And veterans, thank you for your service to our country. Attention all burger enthusiasts and game aficionados. Celebrate a century of excellence at Mott's Lounge, proudly serving the community for 100 years under 5 generations of passionate ownership. Sink your teeth into our hand-pressed fresh burgers bursting with flavor, crafted just the way you like them. And while you're here, enjoy our exclusive drink specials, perfect for toasting to our milestone anniversary. Plus, challenge your luck with our state-of-the-art gaming machines, adding an extra thrill to your visit. Join us at Mott's Lounge and be a part of history in the making. Here's to another century of great food, fun, and memories. Mott's Lounge, where every visit is a celebration. For more information, visit us online at mottslounge.com.
In the middle of the night, everything will be all right if you listen to Coast, right here on WRMN, 7 days a week from midnight to 5 a.m. Each night on Coast to Coast, listeners are captivated by George Newry with discussions on news and current events, conspiracy theories, UFOs, life after death, and all things curious and unexplained. Whether you're working third shift or you're just a night owl, catch the most listened to overnight talk radio program in North America, Coast to Coast, every night, midnight to 5 a.m. right here on WRMN, AM 1410 and 96.7 FM.
The word is out. Nissans cost less on Route 19, but that's not all. Parts, service, and body shop, they all cost less at McGrath Nissan. Used cars too. The reason why is how hard we try. Right now, get 0% APR financing on select new Nissan models at McGrath Nissan because
Nissans cost less on Route 19.
Come to Elgin.
See what we mean.
For a little lighthearted lawlessness on Sunday afternoons, listen to Handle on the Law from 4 to 7 p.m. Handle on the Law is a unique combination of useful legal advice and outrageous handle remarks. Whether you're talking about Big Brother, big business, big legal problems, or Big Macs, you'll rarely find Bill without an opinion. His rapid-fire commentary gives listeners the information they crave in the way they crave it. It's Handle on the Law, Sunday afternoons from 4 to 7 p.m. right here on WRMN, AM 1410 and 96.7 FM.
People are strange when you're a stranger. Faces look ugly when you're alone. Women seem wicked when you're unwanted. Streets are uneven when you're down. When you're strange, faces come out of the rain. When you're strange, no one remembers your name. When you're strange, when you're strange, when you're strange. People are strange when you're a stranger. Faces look ugly when you're alone. Women seem wicked.
All right, welcome back, folks, to the Midday Drive with Matt. I am broadcasting live here from downtown Elgin. We hope you are enjoying the ride with the Midday Drive as we broadcast live here from downtown Elgin. And I am definitely enjoying some of the cool music here as well. Brought to you by The Doors. I meant to say The Doors. And Bill got you back up here. And I think you are also very much so enjoying yourself as well.
Yes, thank you. And Matthew asked me to educate him as well as some of our listeners to some of the 60s music that I grew up with. The Doors is one of my favorite bands. Its lead vocalist was Jim Morrison. He died at the unfortunate age of 27. He was in Paris. They found him dead in his bathtub, allegedly of a heart attack as a result of alcohol abuse. And there was no great secret that he was a big drinker. But, in the 70s and the 80s and, even a little into the early 90s, people did not recognize alcoholism. They just thought it was partying.
Yeah.
I remember after I got out of the Navy, you know, I'd be at home and beep, beep, beep. You know, here's the 80s. I look out the window. Hey, Bill, want to go party, man? And I told him I did all my drinking in the Navy, my friend. My drinking days are over. So that's the nice thing. If you know anybody joining the service or thinking about joining the service, you know, you're on base. You have an enlisted men's club. You go to the club. You drink all you want. You walk back. There's no drunk driving. You walk back to the barracks. You know, you could get all your drinking out of the way when you're in the service. It's a great start for young men and women. Mm-hmm. And I have been volunteering my services to the USO at O'Hare Airport to help out these young men and women who are coming to Great Lakes training boot camp for the Navy. And there's a layover at O'Hare, and we try to help them out and get them some refreshments, keep them hydrated, especially this hot day. The other day was incredibly, even at the airport, it was uncomfortable.
Yeah, I was gonna go for a walk with my dog, and we were like, no, we
would have found you and the dog passed out on the sidewalk, sir.
Probably. So yeah, it was. I'm not a huge fan of the toasty weather. I'm much more for the fall weather, the crisp air.
Yes, me too. September, October, early November are my favorite days. Yeah. You know, when my kids were growing up, I said Halloween was my favorite holiday.
Oh, I love Halloween.
Yeah, yes, you used to party with the kids, take them out for trick-or-treating. It was a big celebration, and I didn't have to see my sister-in-law. You know, it was
I know
great.
You've told me about that before.
Oh, there's always, you know, there's a great line in the movie The Tin Star, or the Western, with Henry Fonda. And he says, every family's got a black sheep. Some have two. You know, Henry Fonda is one of my favorite actors. The delivery that he gives. Let's go back to the Doors. Yes. Jim Morrison was the lead singer of the Doors. The band was formed around 1965 in Los Angeles. And I have some notes here that I threw into mine. The band was formed in 1965 in Los Angeles. The lead vocalist was Jim Morrison. The keyboardist was Ray Manzarek. The guitarist was Robbie Krieger. And the drummer was John Densmore. And they created some beautiful songs. The song you hear is People Are Strange. That's been used in several films, including the 1987 vampire film The Lost Boys, which is a film you should check out because you are a horror fan.
You know, I am. And the thing is when it comes to horror movies, I've only seen a couple that are like the older ones.
Well, 70s is not, 80s is not older.
Well, you know.
It's older than you.
Older than me.
Now, if we were talking about 1931's Frankenstein with Boris Karloff, now that's an older movie.
Yeah, that's what my dad grew up with, was Frankenstein, First Man to Outer Space, I believe it was. First Man into Space.
First Men and the Moon? Is that did you talk about the Ray Harryhausen film?
It's a film. My dad was creeped out by it as a kid. First Man into Space, 1959.
Who's in it?
That is Marshall Thompson.
I seen it.
Yeah, my dad was creeped out by that as a little kid.
Yeah.
And then, you know, he would, and then he loved all the alien stuff too.
Now you gotta understand, those 50s movies with the aliens, they were cheesy. But it was decent acting in the parts of the actors. The special effects was nothing compared to Star Wars or Close Encounters of the Third Kind. They did not have the technology at the time. So just take an air of suspense and don't pay attention to the special effects, but follow the storyline in some of these shows and watch the acting. The actings were much better, and that's a good movie. And then other movies that the music was used in from the Doors was like I said, Apocalypse Now, the beginning. They used This Is the End. Mm-hmm. They've used their music in a lot of films. Riders on the Rain, these are great songs, and they have a hypnotic melody almost to them. Almost every band has a certain feel to it. Are you familiar with The Who?
The Who?
The Who. I guess you're not. Who?
Who's the Who?
So, anyways, they have a certain sound to them too. They were a British invasion group, and they have a certain sound to them. It's every band has a different feel to them. Now they may do different types of music. You've heard of the Beach Boys?
Oh well, yes, I have heard of them. Yes.
Not all their music is very beachy and surfing, but they have some interesting songs. One of their best albums is called Pet Sounds, and some interesting songs on that one. And they kind of got away from their feel-good surfing music, but I like the Beach Boys for music therapy. If I'm ever bummed out about something or just feel down, I go to YouTube, I play the Beach Boys, and I watch the videos at the same time. And sometimes I just go to sleep by because I got the headphones. I don't need to be watching I just listen to the song.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so the rest of nobody in my house knows what I'm doing. I go right through headphones, even my television, right through headphones. So nobody hears, any sound from where I'm at.
See, what I like too is like, if I ever feel like, I'm a little bit on the downside, a little bit of the blues, I like to, I like listening to soundscapes. So it's like ambience. What it is, it's like sound effects. So it's like the sounds that someone records of, like cicadas or
that was a joke, but
no, literally, yeah, or like the sound of like a swamp in Louisiana. It's like it's like at nighttime or like some rain, kind of like that. So
yeah. And you know what? I get advertisements from a lot of these. They're trying to sell a lot of raindrop music to go to sleep by. Raindrop, and they even say there's color music. You listen to green music or blue music.
Yeah, I've heard of those.
Yeah, but you know what? There's and we talked about this earlier in Out to Lunch. There's something called music therapy. When you're bummed out, you don't want to listen to songs of the blues. You really want to listen to upward songs that make you feel good. To me, it's the Beach Boys, Surf City, We're Going Surfing USA. These are good songs. And I'd like to touch on the Beach Boys too. They were a good group. They came up in the 50s. They were an Ed Sullivan show. So were the Doors. They were an Ed Sullivan, and they really caused havoc with Ed Sullivan, because in the song "Baby You Light My Fire," there's a line in there that says we should get higher, and they did. The Sullivan people did not want to talk about smoking weed and getting high.
I think I've heard this before from my dad. I think he has.
So they told them, don't use the word higher. Say, baby, we could get better. And Jim Morrison didn't pay attention, none of it. And when he's singing and he's going live on TV, he goes, baby, we could get higher, higher, higher. He kept saying it.
Oh, he did anyway.
Yeah, he did anyway. He did whatever he wanted. Jim Morrison was a character. But he had personal demons, and his fight with alcohol and resulted in arrest. Never forget this. I'm a DUI, alcohol, and drug expert witness. Alcohol impairs judgment. I learned that in the training academy. I learned that when I was being trained for breathalyzer machines by state troopers. Alcohol impairs judgment. So these people do stuff with alcohol, under the influence of alcohol, that they would not normally do. That's why you got bar fights. That's why you got unwanted pregnancies. You have people that get drunk and hook up, and they really don't like each other when they're sober. And I've seen many cases as a policeman. And alcohol abuse is a problem in this country. We don't really address it because everybody's talking about these opiate problems. But you didn't follow the instructions on the drugs. If you're getting addicted to prescription drugs, it's because you failed to follow instructions. And if you're going out there buying illegal drugs to continue your habit, then you're violating the law and you're putting yourself in jeopardy. And driving under the influence of drugs is also a DUI, which many people do not figure. When they think of DUIs, they think of alcohol only.
Right.
But we talk about this on my Saturday show, Four Corners Radio. That's one of the corners we discuss is legal and DUI issues. But getting back to arts and entertainment, if you go on YouTube, and I really spend a lot more time on YouTube than I do on HBO Max or any of the other Netflix. I just do a lot of research, audio research on YouTube, and visual. There's some videos from those days too. It's incredible the amount of stuff. And what I like to do when I'm watching a video or listening to a song, I like to read the comments. The people put in comments in there.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up with this song. I remember personal experiences with that song. If it's something when during their first date or when they met their wives. Or I can't remember the song I was listening to the other day, but she goes, I used to dance this song with my husband who's since passed away. And I always think of him when this song, and it was kind of sad. It was kind of a sad commentary. But this is songs evoke a response. Movies evoke a response. You watch some of these films like, we were talking about The Exorcist earlier as a horror film,
yes,
right?
Now that I've seen multiple times.
If you turn off the lights and you watch that film by yourself with the lights off, as the movie progresses, it becomes very, very scary. In my opinion, it's one of the scariest films. But if you're talking on the phone, if you got your iPad, you're not paying attention, it takes away from the effect.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm a little older than you. I saw that film in the theater, and people were screaming.
My dad did, too. My dad did, and he said there was a guy next to him that goes, oh, man, we're going to get scared tonight. And someone threw up over in the like a couple rows down. And so
people, they were giving out brown paper bags so people could throw up in. We called them barf bags. People were not used to that type of film in 1973. It was shocking.
The effects of it, too,
yes.
I mean, still scare people to this day. It was something that had never been done before.
Yes.
So,
yes. And we're getting a little off topic away from the Doors, but it's good we discuss this because any type of arts and entertainment, whether it's a film or music, if I know something or I personally experienced it, I like to let people know. People tell me, and I like those little backstories, not only of the film crew or the music or like the backstories of the Doors, but I like the backstories of the people that first heard the Doors. Now, you will always remember the Doors as when you were hosting WRMN, this fat old man came to you and said, hey, how come you don't know about Jim Morrison and the Doors? And I just hope to inspire people to listen to this type of music. Go to YouTube. YouTube's free. Listen to music. There's some very good documentaries. There was also a film came out in the early 90s called The Doors, and it was an excellent performance by Val Kilmer as Jim Morrison. But don't take the film for gospel. A lot of the things that were thrown in the film did not actually happen. It's not a documentary, but it gives the essence of Jim Morrison, the way he was acted, the way he progressed, the way he fell into alcohol abuse, all the way up to his death in the bathtub in France. That's a pretty good film, and Val Kilmer should won an Academy Award for that. And the poor guy is fighting throat cancer right now. He's had serious medical issues.
Oh, goodness. Well, we do have to take a quick time out here because the time is almost 3:48. What we'll do is go to our timeout here, of course. And then when we come back, we'll discuss more with the Midday Drive with Matt and also Bill. Stay tuned.
Let me tell you a story about Bill. Bill was a normal guy in his 50s. He had back surgery about 2 years ago. Bill was in a lot of pain. He dealt with his pain by taking the Percocets his doctor prescribed for him. Bill took more and more and more of them to help with the pain, until one day the prescriptions weren't enough to get rid of Bill's pain. Then one day Bill found someone to help him get rid of the pain with illegal drugs he didn't need a prescription for. Fast forward to today. Bill lost his job and his family. The only thing he does have is his drug dealer. If you know Bill's story and you don't want to end up like Bill, call the Detox and Treatment Helpline right now to get away and get treatment.
800-694-1127. 800-694-1127. 800-694-1127. Call right now. Help is standing by. 800-694-1127.
Batteries Plus Bulbs is more than batteries and bulbs. It's your repair shop for Apple devices, Samsung Galaxy devices, and more. Located on Randall Road, just south of 20 in Elgin, Batteries Plus Bulbs fills all your battery and light bulb needs in one stop. They have the largest selection of batteries for ATVs, cameras, phones, laptops, scooters, cars and homes, and everything else. Looking to save money with energy-efficient LED or holiday lighting? Stop in at Batteries Plus Bulbs in Elgin. Go to batteriesplus.com for special offers.
A recent Gallup poll indicated that 38% of Americans are putting off health care because of financial concerns, the highest ever recorded. I'm Dr. Bob Martin, here to serve you every Sunday afternoon from 1 to 4. Millions of Americans are seeking health advice that will not cost an arm and a leg, so I offer health tips and advice absolutely free. Listen to my show, Sunday afternoons from 1 to 4 right here on WRMN, AM 1410 and 96.7 FM, the voice of the Valley and the home of Radio Shopping Show.
WRMN has been serving Elgin and the Fox Valley for 75 years, featuring a combination of local news, information, and entertainment in the mornings, followed by the Radio Shopping Show for 5 hours each weekday. The first shift with Marky B starts your morning at 6 a.m., and it's always fun when Larry Jones is a part of the show.
Maybe we need to get a radio intern in to help.
Maybe so.
Somebody that you won't have to pay and you can treat them tough.
I can haze them.
Can't haze, you'll get fired. Remember that guy from Northwestern?
Yeah.
Gone.
Did he really do it?
You don't have to really do it. If somebody says you did,
yeah,
good enough. Maybe I'm going to accuse you of hazing me. I don't have to prove it.
And then there'll be a lot of people that come out of the and say that I also hazed
I remember when Mark hazed me. I've been hazed.
Mark hazed me back in 2012.
2012. I remember in Memphis one time. He was really mean to me.
It's first shift fun and information in the morning, combined with the Radio Shopping Show to save you money. And you get it right here on WRMN AM 1410, WRMN 1410 Radio on Facebook, and WRMN1410.com. America's Best Restaurants travels the country and features restaurants that you should visit each week. Recently, the cast and crew made their way to Renata's German Restaurant in Hanover Park. Renata serves old family recipes and delicious German-influenced food. Renata's also specializes in a wide variety of traditional German baked goods, too. So, if you've yet to visit Renata's, try America's Best Restaurants choice. Drop in soon for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Visit renatasgermanrestaurant.com.
Anderson Japanese Gardens, ranked the highest quality Japanese garden in North America and located right in the heart of Rockford. Their mission is to open minds to a different culture while offering a place of peace and tranquility where one can find healing, renewal, inspiration, and a re-energized soul. A premier destination for corporate functions, special events, weddings, and receptions. For directions, hours, and fees, visit andersongarden.org today.
This is the end, beautiful friend. This is the end, my only friend. The end of our elaborate plans. The end of everything that stands. The end.
All right, welcome back, folks, to the Midday Drive with Matt, broadcasting live here from downtown Elgin.
And Bill Pellerinos from Four Corners Radio on Saturdays, 12 noon till 1 with Matt. And we are discussing arts and entertainment, specifically The Doors with Jim Morrison. And that song we're talking about is called This Is the End, or The End. And that song was played in the beginning of Apocalypse Now.
Yes.
It has a long intro, as you can hear, almost an Indian-like sound.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what the Doors were famous for, almost like a musical ballad kicking in and before the words go. And Jim Morrison is one of these guys that just blessed with such a beautiful voice. I mean, and the slower, I think it's easier to sing these faster songs than it is these slower ones where you have to really have a range. Jim Morrison really has a good range there. He was a brilliant artist, but of course a trouble artist. And trouble artist goes all the way back in history. Van Gogh with the cutting off the ear, all the way, back to the era of the cavemen drawing in caves. You know what I mean?
Yep, exactly.
Neanderthal man. So, yes, the Doors, if you're not familiar with them, was a Los Angeles-based group. They were formed in 1965. Their lead singer was Jim Morrison, who himself is very famous. And he ended up, unfortunately, dying of a heart attack due to alcohol abuse. He died in a bathtub in an apartment in Paris, France. And he's buried in France. And it's funny, I was watching a documentary, something I didn't know the other day. The cemetery is buried in, there's other literary artists like Oscar Wilde. Have you heard of Oscar Wilde?
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
Oscar Wilde buried there, and Jim Morrison really wanted to gravitate from songs to being a literary artist. He wanted to be a writer. Mm-hmm. But, of course, alcohol and drug abuse have ruined many people's lives, and it's something we talk about on Saturdays on our show when we discuss DUI cases. But with Jim Morrison, really a talented voice, really incredible. Tender. And he got out some serious, almost some R-rated lyrics in some of his stage performances. He was arrested on stage in Miami for indecent exposure in 1969. The court case dragged on for 2 years. And then, music just left a sour feeling in his stomach, so he just left the music scene. The last song he recorded was L.A. Woman, which became a big hit, an even bigger hit after these people die. Their music, their posters. He's got a poster. You got to see the poster where it's from one of his albums. He's shirtless, and he's just standing there with his arm bent, and it's really a big seller. Some people, like Bruce Lee, Marilyn Monroe, they're worth, James Dean, their images are worth more after death than these celebrities were alive. Their estates continue to make money. If you go to Los Angeles, you can go to Hollywood Boulevard. They have big tourist stores. I think one is in Hollywood and Vine, I think. Don't quote me on that, but it's a nice corner store, and they sell everything. Audrey Hepburn, she's a big icon.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
My daughter loves Audrey Hepburn. And Marilyn Monroe, James Dean, John Wayne. John Wayne has a big following. Mm-hmm. Clint Eastwood. Even though he's alive, he's still alive, he's still kicking. Don't give him away at 93. Or I think he just had his 94th birthday, but he's still up there kicking. He has a lot of following. One of his biggest and most famous films is The Outlaw Josie Wales. Have you seen it?
I never have, no.
It's one of his most famous Westerns, but the image of him as Josie Wales is very iconic. And what are we playing?
Oh, it's the outro music. We're at the top of the hour.
Oh, we're at the top of the hour.
Yeah, we're at the top of the hour.
Our phone lines are open. I see some flashing.
I know. We do have a couple callers on hold. I'll make sure to call them off the air and take them off the air and see if they want to stay on to talk a little bit more.
No, can we get it to them now?
Oh, no, we're about to take a quick time out at the top of the hour news.
Oh, top of the hour news. Okay.
Yeah, because it's almost 4 o'clock.
All right, get those callers.
All right, sounds good. We'll take a quick time out, folks. We'll be back with more as we get into the 4 o'clock hour of the Midday Drive. Stay tuned.
Attention all burger enthusiasts and game aficionados. Celebrate a century of excellence at Mott's Lounge. Proudly serving the community for 100 years under 5 generations of passionate ownership. Sink your teeth into our hand-pressed fresh burgers bursting with flavor, crafted just the way you like them. And while you're here, enjoy our exclusive drink specials, perfect for toasting to our milestone anniversary. Plus, challenge your luck with our state-of-the-art gaming machines, adding an extra thrill to your visit. Join us at Mott's Lounge and be a part of history in the making. Here's to another century of great food, fun, and memories. Mott's Lounge, where every visit is a celebration. For more information, visit us online at mottslounge.com.
Your hometown radio station since 1949. We are WRMN AM 1410, Elgin time, 4 o'clock.
With your AM 1410 WRMN News Flash, I'm Sean Fernand.
Brought to you by Bank of America Merrill Investments.
Mr. Benjamin Netanyahu appeared before a joint session of Congress today, making a dramatic appeal for support. Netanyahu says civilization is at risk.
This is not a clash of civilizations. It's a clash between barbarism and civilization.
He says Israel and the U.S. must stand together. Several notable figures were absent from the speech, including Vice President Kamala Harris and some 50 Democratic lawmakers. Thousands of demonstrators protesting the Israel-Hamas war were outside the U.S. Capitol during Netanyahu's speech. Wildfires continue to threaten communities in the West as one Oregon fire closes an interstate.
Parts of I-84 in Oregon shut down after the Durkee fire was so intense it created its own weather pattern, according to National Weather Service meteorologist Josh Smith.
They've generated a lot of heat, which has helped them control their own environment. At least 8 or 9 days of 100-degree temperatures or greater.
Triple-digit temperatures also making it difficult for firefighters in California. In Sierra, on the Nevada border, a series of lightning-sparked wildfires closing a state highway. And in Riverside, officials searching for whoever set off fireworks, causing a massive blaze there. I'm Julie Walker.
President Biden will have an opportunity to make a case for his legacy Wednesday night when he delivers an Oval Office address about his decision to bow out of the 2024 race and what lies ahead. How Biden's one term is remembered will be intertwined with Kamala Harris's electoral result in November, particularly as the vice president runs tightly on the Biden administration's achievements. Rough day on Wall Street with the Dow down by 504 points. More at townhall.com.
Hi, everyone. If you've been injured in an accident that was not your fault, listen up. We have legal professionals standing by to answer your questions for free. Call now and find out if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth. Call 800-504-8790. I'm here with spokesman John Wolf. So, John, tell everyone listening who should call right now.
Well, Maria, first off, thank you for having me here. It's always nice to answer the listeners' questions. Now, as far as who should call in, anyone who's been injured in an accident and think you deserve compensation, give us a call right now. 800-504-8790. You'll find out if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth.
Thanks, John. You heard it, folks. Take advantage of this opportunity and call now. 800-504-8790.
Advertisement sponsored by Legal Help Center. May not be available in all states.
A major setback for DEI programs in Alabama.
3 University of Alabama system campuses have closed diversity, equity, and inclusion offices and shifted staff members to other programs. The move was taken to comply with a new state law that bans DEI programs on public college campuses. Schools in Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, and Huntsville announcing the closure of the DEI offices. That law goes into effect on the first day of October. Jason Walker reporting.
Salt Lake City's been formally awarded the 2034 Winter Olympics following a vote by the International Olympic Committee in Paris. The decision gives Utah its second games after hosting in 2002. Salt Lake City was the lone contender the Olympic Committee was considering for 2034. News and analysis at townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters. The Federal Trade Commission is looking into so-called surveillance pricing practices.
The FTC has ordered information from 8 companies that the agency says offer products and services that use personal data to set prices based on a shopper's individual characteristics. The agency says it's seeking to better understand the opaque market of surveillance pricing practices using consumer data, including credit information, location, and browsing history, to charge different customers different prices for the same goods. The FTC said it sent orders to MasterCard, Revionics, Bloomreach, JP Morgan Chase, Task Software, Proz, Accenture, and McKinney & Company. I'm Norman Hall.
Google's corporate parent Alphabet delivered another quarter of steady growth amid an AI-driven shift in its ubiquitous search engine that's the foundation of its internet empire. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Clocking out? Drive home with the Drive Time Deal with Matt McNeil on WRMN 1410 AM every weekday from 3 to 6 p.m. I bring you the hottest deals in town, the most intriguing stories, and the tracks that take the edge off rush hour. Tune in on 1410 AM. Catch us on YouTube Live at WRMN Radio or stream through our app. I've got the wheel to steer your evening right. WRMN 1410 AM, your home of radio shopping and the soundtrack to your commute.
Rise and shine, Fox Valley listeners. It's time to kickstart your day with First Shift with Marky B on WRMN 1410 AM. From 6 to 9 a.m., join the chatter that gets you clued in with the latest buzz around town. Don't just sip on your coffee. Let Marky B brew your morning with the perfect mix of news, views, and moves. Dial us in or live stream at WRMN1410.com and make your mornings a whole lot brighter. WRMN 1410 AM. We're the voice of the Valley, and we're here to talk.
Riders on the storm, riders on the storm. Into this house we're born, into this world we're thrown. Like a dog without a bone, and packed we're out on loan. Riders on the storm, there's a killer on the road.
All right. Welcome, folks, to the second hour of the Midday Drive with Matt. This is Riders on the Storm. Brought to you by The Doors. Very nice. I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah, let me pull you up here on the screen so people can see you as well. The start of the song is like what I listen to.
Yes.
The storms.
Yes. Very hypnotic. This is The Doors. We started discussing an hour ago. If you're just joining us, my name is William Pellerinos. I have a show, Four Corners Radio on Saturday, and one of the corners is supposed to be arts and entertainment. But due to all the legal issues that we've been discussing, I have not had time to get to it. And Matt was kind enough to let me come on this show and just share some of my musical knowledge with him and our listeners. And what we're discussing today is The Doors and Jim Morrison. And as I said earlier, the Doors were formed in L.A. in 1965, and their lead singer was Jim Morrison. A very, you hear his voice. Mm-hmm. It's I can't even describe it. It's so good. I can't even think of the word to use, but it's a very beautiful voice. He gets out every note, doesn't miss a note, doesn't have the wrong pitch, and he sings a lot slower than most people. In the common denominator, at least in my opinion, those songs, you got a long musical intro, almost Indian type music, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. and it really sets the tone for the rest of the song that's coming in. And that Riders on the Storm is one of my personal favorites. It's almost like telling a story. It's almost like a ballad, you know?
Yeah,
and
very cool.
You know, you should start listening to this, man. Go on YouTube tonight and just say, hey, you know, let me listen for a little bit. A fat old man told me a very musical story today, and Jim Morrison's life ended up tragically. Due to alcohol use, he had a heart attack in his while taking a bath in France, in Paris, France, because he had left the United States and he wanted to leave singing and become a writer. And he's ended up buried in a cemetery with other writers, Oscar Wilde being one of them. So, you know, but his music lives on to this day, 5-6 decades later. It's music, films, celluloid does not go away. They live on even though the artists have passed on, just like books. Yeah. I like reading the older books. You know, I read Alexander Dumas, who is famous for writing The Three Musketeers in the 1700s. He wrote that. But I liked reading his Count of Monte Cristo. It's a long book. I mean, like 500-600 pages. But I enjoyed it. I took my time. I read it. I did a lot of this early reading in high school. I was a big reader, avid reader. And you're kind of one of these guys who likes to read off his iPad, right?
Yeah, my iPad is what I read off.
What do they call that when you read off the iPad?
It's like a digital. I mean, you also, like, there's other ones out there like Kindle.
Yeah, Kindle. Yeah. That was the word I was looking for.
I've read off that too.
You know, my wife's got those accounts at Amazon. I try reading it. I can't stare at a screen with words. It's easier for me to have a piece of paper in front of me, a book. And I try not to dog-ear the pages. I have bookmarks. And I like reading books.
That's good.
And this is how I grew up, with books. And I got hundreds of books at home. Some very valuable, too. There are book collectors out there, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. I've got a couple older ones, like Victorian ones. I've never read them, but I have them on my bookshelf as a collector's item. So.
Did you ever hear of a disc jockey in Chicago called Larry Lujak?
It sounds familiar.
He was big in the 70s. There's actually one book on him. I have it on eBay. It's like $200. And somebody wanted to borrow it one time, and it took me like 6 months to get the book back.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, you know, I said, this isn't a paperback you could get for $15 on eBay. You know, this is, and I like eBay because you buy older stuff on it.
Oh, I do, yeah.
I spend more time on eBay than I do on Amazon.com.
Yeah, I mean, I use Amazon for things that like we need, like ink and stuff for my printer, but other than that, it's eBay. I love looking at all that stuff. Yeah, and
by the way, I just got a notice from eBay as of August 13th or 15th, they're not taking American Express no more.
Oh, really? Okay.
So if your credit card on account with them is American Express, you're going to have to change that to Visa or MasterCard or whatever else they take, just to let people know.
Sounds good.
So
we do have a couple callers on hold.
Kick it in.
Yeah, I know we've got a caller here. You are on the air with WRMN. How are you doing today? Oh, my goodness. I'm so sorry. I put you on a different line. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Hi, I got you up on the air. Can you hear me?
Hello? Yeah, is that me?
This is you.
Hey, yeah, I got a question for Bill.
Go right ahead.
I was listening on Saturday when he was talking about the ambulances and how important it is to go in the ambulance, and then that escaped prisoner tried to escape from the jailhouse, and he ran down the stairs, and the officer jumped down the flight of stairs, and he twisted his ankle and got a blood clot, and he ended up passing away. Does that inmate get charged with that officer's death?
I don't recall. That was in 1988, I believe, and that incident happened at the Des Plaines Courthouse. And the reason he was in Des Plaines, before 1992, there was no Rolling Meadows Courthouse. If you had court in the 3rd District, which was Des Plaines, Mount Prospect, Elk Grove, you had to go to their stations and local courthouses. His name was either Jeffrey Blakely or Jeffrey Blake. And the reason I always give this is because people have slip and fall accidents And what happens is they just get up and walk away, and it ends up being a long-term injury requiring expensive medical attention and ongoing treatments, and they try to get a civil attorney. And I'm going to tell you something. If you don't call an ambulance and have them document what happened, where you were, and to transport you to the hospital so there's no break in that timeline, it's going to be almost impossible for you to find a civil attorney to file a lawsuit on your behalf.
It's almost like you lose the case.
I'm sorry?
It's almost like you lose.
It's almost like you lose. You're not going to win.
Yes, because you're not documenting it. And I know I follow civil and criminal cases, and I know of one case, and I knew the lawyer that handled it. What had happened, and I mentioned this, a lady was going up the steps, and there had to be some carpet repair. Instead of replacing the whole carpet down the steps, what they replaced a section of it, and they ended up gluing it or sewing it in. And what happened, her high heel snagged. She ends up falling down, injuring her foot. Turned out to be a break, but, people walk on broken foots and don't realize they just suffered a pain.
Oh, yeah.
But she made a report with the security guy, but she failed to call an ambulance. So 8 hours later, when she goes to the hospital and they find out it's a break and she has all these medical payments, she hired an attorney and he took the case, but he lost. And the argument of the defense attorney that was representing the building said, hey, anything could happen in 8 hours. She could have fallen in her bathtub. We don't know, because of the fact she didn't take that ambulance ride to not break the timeline. And the timeline is you're someplace, you get injured at that place, the paramedics who are unbiased people, the police come, they document, and they transport you immediately, so there's no added injury to your injury or question of added injury. And trust me, my friends, I do paralegal work. One of my side jobs, I do paralegal work for many attorneys, and their local, their clients are always looking for a civil attorney, and the attorneys that I do are criminal attorneys, and they say, Bill, try and find a civil attorney, and it's very hard because civil attorneys do not get paid up front like criminal attorneys. They only take a percentage of the settlement. So if they think they can't win it, they're not taking your case.
Got it. Yeah, but you're not sure the inmate got charged, though, huh? He may not have gotten, because he should have been charged with that officer's death.
Oh, I don't remember. Maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. But the whole point was because they made it an on-duty injury, because his heart attack happened later that night. It took that blood clot like 6 or 8 hours to go from that ankle where the injury was to devastate his heart. So everybody thought it was a heart attack, but the sheriff at the time, and God bless him, he was James O'Grady, says, hey, I want to find out in the autopsy, find out if that death was a result of his injury earlier that afternoon. And luckily, he had documented that he jumped over the railing, injured his foot trying to stop an escaping prisoner. And that's that story. And because of that, his family ended up getting better benefits because there are benefits for police and fire killed in the line of duty as opposed to you having a heart attack off duty.
Oh, yeah. It's huge benefit.
We got to take care of our families. That's what we're here for.
Yes, sir.
If we die, they got no more income. Families are devastated. Everybody's living in hard economic times right now. Not only in the United States, England is horrible. The prices are ridiculous out there. I know people who just came back from vacation. So people, not just here, but Canada's ridiculous, on taxation. And people need not only to increase your income, but you need breaks. And that's why I like certain things. I like going to the flea market on Sundays at Rosemont. I find stuff there. I bought 7 screwdrivers 2 weeks ago. I got them for $1 a piece. Phillips, straight slot, different sizes. If I would have gone to Ace or one of those hardware stores, they would charge me $7-8 for a screwdriver. But
it's insane.
I saved $35,
It's the same in the country I was born, Russia. I mean, 30% of income is just for food, and food costs have gone up there too.
Oh, food costs are up 30% here in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
I have photographs because I used to take pictures at Costco and I used to compare with Jewel and everything. But I saved those photos and I show people now, look what we're paying now for ground beef compared to 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And if you could save money by going to the flea market or getting these gift certificates, Matt runs this these things are the best things, in my opinion, since sliced bread. You know, you can go to, what's it, Oshkosh, that's coming up this weekend.
Yeah, the EAA Air Venture of Oshkosh, that's coming up this weekend.
Those tickets you're selling are valued with the parking and the passes $260, but you're giving them like, what, $120, $110?
Oh, yeah. So this is the EAA Air Venture. It's a 265 family 4-pack, and those are normally $129. So they're normally in at $129.
But that shows this weekend. So didn't you say in the earlier episode they're going to sell them cheaper?
Oh, yes.
Tomorrow.
So, yeah. So if you want to stop on by, feel free to, because I'll do it for cheaper. Even if you want to call, the phone line 847-741-7700 is back up and running again. So if
now
you want to call.
Slowly repeat that, because when I'm driving, you guys give out these numbers, and slowly.
It's 847-741-7700. You can call in 12 to 3. I'll be there. And you can ask about the pricing as well, too. And I'll tell you.
And people wait till the last minute to go to these shows. Last weekend, last Saturday, many people were coming in for the King County Fair, and it was going on over the weekend. So they waited till the last minute.
Yeah. Oh, he did drop already. Okay.
All right. Go to the next line.
All right. So we got the next caller here. You are on the air with WRMN.
Good morning, Matt.
Oh, well, hello. How are you today?
I'm good.
Awesome.
Is that our Australia lady?
It is. It's Derica, yes.
Is from Australia?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, how's the weather in Australia?
Cold at the moment.
She said cold, yeah.
Cold. Oh, their winter is our summer.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
I heard what you said about having books. I got books, too. I got a lot of them.
She's got a lot of books. Big collection. What kind of books in particular? Like older collection or?
Just books that I like to read. Like, I've even got books that I've had since I was in primary school.
Since you were in primary
and I
school?
still love to read them.
Nice. So she's had them for a while. Very cool.
Yeah, and I like period romances like the Jane Austen era and even earlier than that, and just anything that touches my heart.
Jane Austen, I'm related to her.
You are?
I am. Her brother is my 5 times great-grandfather.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But my mom's side descends from the Austens.
Oh, really?
Yep.
She was British, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so Jane Austen, the authors, I thought you said maybe I misunderstood you. You had come from Russia?
Well, my adoptive mother. So I'm not biologically related, but my mom is biologically related. My adopted mom, is biologically related to Jane Austen. I'm not. Okay. I don't have any famous people.
But that's okay. You know what? And I'm glad you mentioned that, because that's another thing we should mention on our show. Adopted people, I really believe in adoption. You got parents that really want to be parents, adopting these kids whose own parents really weren't qualified to be parents.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen people that are alcoholics and drug addicts having children or trying to raise children. That's not a conducive environment.
Yeah.
So I'm really a pro-adoption type guy.
Yeah. Well, I am too, of course, because I am adopted.
That's a great thing.
So, yeah. But I'm not like, oh, I'm adopted. They're my parents.
Yeah, but you know what? It is what it is.
Yeah.
It is what it is. And just be glad they raised you in a loving environment where my biological father, the guy I grew up with, who was my father, was very abusive towards me. And he was quick to hit. I took a beating. And up until I left home and joined the Navy, those beatings continued, even when I was in high school. I mean, he was just brutal. Yeah. And sometimes your parents are not qualified to be parents. They don't have the temperament. Mm-hmm. They have their own personal demons. I arrested people in domestic cases where they abused their children, sometimes their parents, sometimes their spouses or their loved ones. people in this country have a lot of alcohol abuse problems.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not talking about social drinkers. I'm talking about alcohol abuse. These people drink to intoxication. And I saw it in the lockup. We used to say, our saying was, alcohol is the root of all evil.
Yeah.
You know. So anyways, I don't want to interrupt. Is there another caller popping up?
Oh, no, it's just her. It's still Derica here.
All right, Darda, go ahead.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who have trouble with alcohol here in Australia too. But there's the same sort of problem here.
Oh, it's the same problem there as well?
All over the world.
Yeah.
In Canada. I'm sure in Russia they beat their families.
It's worse in Russia.
Yeah.
I'm a part of a Russian adoptees group, and the stories I hear that people type out, it's like...
all over the world. And you know what? When I go on these, I tell my personal experiences to help out the next person. If I look back at my life and I could change anything, I made a mistake getting out of the Navy. I should have put 20 years into the Navy. I could have retired at 50% of my base pay at age 39 and been on my way. I regret not staying in the Navy. I found a home, and I didn't realize it at the time. So I volunteer for the USO, where these new recruits are coming in and they have a layover at O'Hare Airport, and they're waiting for their buses, and we're trying to help them out. And I tell them, you guys don't realize, young ladies and men, you don't realize it now, but this is, once you get through basic military training, this is the best group of people you ever be with. You know what I'm saying? And I've worked a lot of jobs. I picked up garbage. I worked at as a furniture mover. I worked for 3 years in the Cook County Jail. I put 27 years as a policeman. And I'm going to tell you something. If I could change it over, I never would have gone into police work. The death and destruction I saw stays with me forever. I mean, I saw children die. I don't mean dead children. I mean, I saw children die. And that stays with me. And it comes back in your sleep. And it's you got to respect the first responders. I see a lot of anti-police stuff on the internet. People hate the police and go do their job. I don't see anybody volunteering. Yeah. I don't see. When I took the test, it was 5,000 applicants. Now you're lucky to get 700.
Exactly.
Go do their job. You think it's easy? I used to rotate every 28 days. I used to change shifts. I worked 28 days a days, then midnights, then afternoons. And I did that for 6-7 years until we got permanent shifts. Yeah. Most of my shifts was working nights, either afternoons or midnights. I can't sleep at night no more.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely, it can be difficult when it comes
and then you go to these domestic situations. I had one guy, and I hate to get off track because we're trying to talk about the Doors, but also the Doors is music therapy. I listened to this Riders on the Storm, and you said you find it therapeutic. You find it mellow. It's really good. I like it. It relaxes me. And I get away from my thoughts. I found a trick to get away from your maybe bummed out thoughts or things that come back to you. You got to change your focus. And I go on this YouTube at night and change my focus. I listen to the Doors and I think of their story. I listen to the Beach Boys. It's music therapy. And some people do art therapy. They paint, they relax, they distress.
I've done that before.
Yes. I tried something the other day, was chair yoga. I thought it was pretty good. It relaxed me. I exercised some muscles, and it's hard for me because I got neuropathy in the legs from diabetes. So she went real slow. It was like a 2-hour class for $20. The best $20 I ever spent. You know what? For the price of a Happy Meal, I mean, it relaxed me. I was able to get some decent sleep afterwards.
Yeah. What's therapeutic for me also is my room at my house is all antiques. It's old pictures on the walls. That's therapeutic to me. To other people, it's creepy, but to me, it's therapeutic. I don't know why. It just is.
It's better than having spaghetti on the wall like The Odd Couple. Did you ever see that scene when he throws the spaghetti on the wall? Oh, you haven't seen The Odd Couple?
No.
Oh, funny movie. Hey, there's someone on the earlier show, Out to Lunch, we talked about movie therapy. And I said, you're bummed out, you're feeling the blues, watch a comedy. Animal House is a film I named. You haven't seen it, have you?
Animal House? No, I haven't seen it.
How about Ghostbusters with Bill Murray?
Okay, now the Ghostbusters, I've seen clips of.
No, you got to watch the whole thing from beginning to end. Bill Murray really steals that movie. But that movie was originally written for John Belushi, but he ended up dying before that, and drug overdose. Okay. Unfortunately, he fell into drug addiction, and he was a beautiful talent. And that's another story we'll talk about on arts and entertainment.
Sounds good.
But I had the list here.
Well, we do have to take a quick time out pretty soon.
Okay, listen, I'll go real quickly.
Yeah.
You want some funny films? Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Have you seen this? It's a British movie from the 70s. It's about King Arthur searching for the Holy Grail, and it's just a crazy movie.
I mean, I know of it, but I've never seen it.
Okay.
No, yeah.
Another one is from the 50s. It's called It's a Mad, 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 Mad World. Have you seen it? Oh, some of the best comedians in the 50s were assembled for this film. It's about a race to find some stolen hidden money and the predicament these people end up in. And the actors in it were just Jonathan Winters, Phil Silvers, Milton Berle, Sid Caesar. It's just fantastic. And I hope you use this, and I'm going to leave you some notes so you watch some of this.
Okay.
Have you seen Caddyshack?
No, I've never even heard of that one.
Caddyshack, huge hit in the late 70s. Huge. Bill Murray and Chevy Chase and Rodney Dangerfield and Ted Knight. You know, did you ever watch Mary Tyler Moore Show?
I'm familiar with it.
Oh, Ted Knight was on there for many years. Very good talent. And are you familiar with Abbott and Costello? Abbott and Costello, they were hilarious. They made a lot of films. I'm going to have to... Do you have a DVD player?
I believe somewhere in the house we do.
Well, if you find it, I'll loan you some of my DVDs, sir. Let's go to break.
All right, sounds good. Take a quick time out here. We'll be back with more in just a bit. Stay tuned.
Theriault Booth, a leading local law firm, is located on the beautiful Fox River in downtown St. Charles. Here's Ryan Theriault.
For better or worse, there are just times people need a lawyer. Whether you are involved in a work injury, in an automobile crash, selling a home, or even planning for your estate after your passing, we're here. We're local. We're part of the community.
For more information, visit them on the web at tbfirm.com or give them a call at 630-526-4242.
This is McGruff the Crime Dog, and I need you to help me take a bite out of crime. Counterfeit products are popping up everywhere. Fake sneakers, fake cosmetics, and even fake pills. Crooks are selling counterfeit versions of just about everything. Last year, billions of dollars worth of counterfeit products were sold in the U.S. Sure, it may seem like saving a few bucks on the things you want isn't a big deal, but counterfeits are usually made in unsafe conditions, potentially using hazardous and even lethal ingredients that could harm you and others. And the money you've paid, it goes right into the hands of criminals and may support child labor, drugs, and even gangs. Smells like big crime to me. So if you still think buying fake products is harmless, think again. And remember, if you don't know where the products came from, how could you know where the money goes? You're smart, buy smart. Go for real. Learn more at mcgruffpsa.org. This message is brought to you by the United States Patent and Trademark Office and the National Crime Prevention Council.
It's the time of the year where storms and inclement weather can pop up unexpectedly. If you have a generator powered by a small engine, keep it running like a top. Don't do the tune-up yourself. Let Ames Small Engine Repair at 674 Laurel Street in Elgin handle your generator. Ames can do oil changes, spark plugs, and make all the necessary adjustments. From simple tune-ups to major repairs, Ames Small Engine can do it all. Don't forget, it's not too early to think about a lawnmower tune-up. Call 847-742-8750.
Oh no, I just hit that post and my car's got a dent.
Uh-oh, better get Mako.
Oh yeah? Where are they?
Mako is America's body shop. They're the world's largest provider of paint and collision services. They're located at 212 Western Avenue in Carpentersville, across from Spring Hill Mall. I've used them. Check out my car.
Wow, looking good.
Everything was so easy and affordable. Hummer and staff were super friendly and really knew their stuff.
I'm going to call them now.
Mention WRMN 1410 at the Carpentersville Mako and receive 10% off today.
What's the best way to get rid of a timeshare that you don't want? Call the Timeshare Exit Hotline. We're a group of attorneys that help customers legally exit their timeshares. It's an easy process. We guarantee results or you pay nothing. Exit your timeshare today. Call now.
800-890-5957. 800-890-5957. That's 800-890-5957.
Here at WRMN Radio, we try to connect with the community and discuss important issues, like our current mental health crisis. Here's Lori Baker, President and CEO of AID.
I think most people, when they see young children thinking about suicide at the ages of 5 and 6 and 7, I mean, that's shocking to me that children even know that they want to harm themselves somehow. I know it's difficult. I definitely feel the pinch. We all feel the pinch at the gas pump, at the grocery store, right, in our rents, but I think most people could handle 27 cents a day to help kids and seniors and people experiencing homelessness.
Discussions like this take place on the first shift, weekday mornings from 6 to 10, right here on WRMN AM 1410 and WRMN 1410 Radio on Facebook. On. Okay. Oh, I know why, because this is not on. Okay, we're good. We're all good now.
We had a visitor in the station and we were talking about, and he's a retired policeman also, and he was talking about he was trying to save some children in a fire, and that stays with you for a long period of time. And people don't understand what first responders go through. And I want to have the utmost respect for our police officers, our firefighters, our military, our doctors and nurses. You know, when you see the statistics out there, 100 people shot, and then it'll tell you, oh, but only 17 deaths. Let me tell you why there was only 17 deaths. Because the police got there, they're compressing the wounds until the fire department gets there to stabilize them, to take them to the doctors and nurses in the emergency rooms to save their lives. If this wasn't done, these people would bleed out.
Right.
And you'd have 100 shootings, you'd have 90 deaths. You know? There's a lot of policemen, and I knew one guy that did this. They had a shooting victim, and they had some kind of a pad to compress the bleeding. There's a term for it. Now, I've been on police for 12 years, so I can't memorize all that stuff. But he told me, we put the pad on it, and he goes, I held it down the back seat, and we transported him to the squad car. We didn't wait that 5-6 minutes for the ambulance. This man was going to bleed out. Those guys are heroes.
Yeah.
And that's what's being done. So when I read this stuff on the internet, I hate the police. You know, pal, you got a problem. You know, I hope the next time there's a burglar climbing through your window with a machete about to attack you, don't call the police. Call a social worker.
Right. Yeah. It's almost embarrassing. Well, it is, especially since a lot of people my age. It's not everyone my age, but it's a lot. The demographic is usually
And you know what?
People.
Sometimes I have meetings on Tuesday mornings with other veterans, and I wear my Navy hat, and I'll go shopping at Jewel or someplace. And I get older people that stop and they don't know me. They tell me, thank you for your service. And, you know, I'm in the mind, I forget I wear the hat, you know, so, but I've only had one young lady, one millennial, come up to me and say thank you. And I didn't know what she was talking about. I didn't have my hearing aids on at the time. And then she tapped my hand. I go, oh, yeah, I forgot I was wearing it. But she thanked me. And it turns out one of her relatives had fought in Iraq and had come back without a leg. And she understood the sacrifices that these men and women make in the military. And let me tell you something. That's one of the lowest paid jobs. These people don't join the military for the money. They're joining because they want to help out the country. They want to help out their fellow man. They want to be educated. They want to, you know, they have a pride. And in the Navy, when we used to, when I joined, they had great posters that pride runs deep, and that's the truth.
Yeah.
You know.
Absolutely.
So, anyways, we got any callers?
Just back again here with, you know who it is from Australia, Derica. Hello again.
Hi.
Hey, I hope you listen to me on Saturday at 12 noon our time.
I don't know what time I'll be here. It might be in the early hours of the morning.
Yeah, it would probably be very early in the morning, I'm thinking.
Probably, yeah.
Anyways,
I'd like to say good day to the first responders over there. The fire brigade, the ambulance, and the police.
Well, thank you. So she says good day to the firemen and police.
Oh, yeah. And you know what? Wherever they are, if they're in Australia or if they're in England, and in England it's harder. The police on the street don't carry guns. And there was an incident a couple of years ago where a policeman was stabbed to death right on the street. He had no gun to shoot the offender. You know, I think the times have changed. We're in too violent a community. We're too violent times. You got some violent, vicious offenders out there. I think England should rethink that thing and start arming their local police too. Because, being you're in uniform, you're a target, you're being chased down the street by a maniac with a knife, and that's a horrible death. I've seen stab victims. It's a horrible death. So with that being said, I think we should go to a little lighter note. Let's go back to the Doors.
Back to the Doors. We've got the doors open for the Doors.
Yes. So another song that they sang was Light My Fire. So look it up while I'm talking. The Doors, Light My Fire. And that was actually used in the movie Castaway with Tom Hanks. They didn't play the music, but when he was able to build a fire, and you need fire to survive. You need fresh water, you need fire, you need shelter, you need food, and you need 4 elements to survive. And he was finally able to develop fire, and he starts singing a song, Light My Fire!
I got the song up here.
Yeah, let's play a little bit of it.
That it would be untrue. You know that I would be a liar if I was to say to you, girl, we couldn't get much higher. Come on, baby, light my fire. Come on, baby, light my fire. Try to set the night on fire. The time to hesitate is through. No time to wallow in the mire. Try now, we can only lose, and our love become a funeral pyre. Come on, baby, light my fire. Come on, baby, light my fire. Try to set the night on fire.
Well,
now I've heard that song before.
Do you like it?
I do like it.
Do you like it? Now you got to check out all their songs and see which ones click with you.
I know. Which ones click? Already that one with the rain sound effect. The rain in the back.
Yeah. Riders on the Storm.
Yeah, that's amazing.
This is your homework for the week, Matthew.
Okay.
Saturday when I come in early in the Radio Shopping Network, I want to talk about some of the Doors and Jim Morrison, which ended up being a tragic story, but his legacy lives on through his music and through his film posters or posters of his albums. He's become an icon like Audrey Hepburn or John Wayne or Bruce Lee. They sell his stuff all over the world, and especially in Los Angeles and the tourist attractions.
Very nice. We do have some comments here on the YouTube. Hi, Matt. Nice show. Thank you, Catherine, for commenting in here. Mark says, the deals that make us all smile, drive time deal, is my favorite time of the day. We also have Catherine commenting here. Good day, Derica. Great hearing from you again. And I'm listening to Matt as always. Glad you got some warm socks. It says she says here, so very nice.
I'd like to say good night to everyone who's listening and making comments on the YouTube as well.
Very nice. So I always have to ask, what did you have for breakfast today, Derica?
I haven't had it yet, but I'm going to have a bowl of Just Right.
Oh, Just Right. That sounds just right. Nice.
Yeah, is the other fellow still there?
Oh, yeah, he's still here. Bill's still here. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Just Right is one of our breakfast cereals here.
What did she say?
To try the breakfast cereal. It's called Just Right. Have you heard of it?
No, but does that have sugar in it?
No, it's not. It's not a sugary cereal. It's a healthy one.
Okay, then I will try because I'm diabetic. I have to stay away from sugary products, or else somebody will be giving me CPR. I can't. You know what? I like to mention that because I do talk about diabetic health on the radio, and I had a friend that whatever caused it, his blood sugar, his glucose just shot up. And he became lethargic, and I wasn't there that day, and he was at work, and people didn't understand what was going on with him. They thought he was, people are not doctors, they guessed. They thought he was having a stroke. But what happened, his blood sugar was so high, it skyrocketed, that he could have died.
Yeah.
So when your blood sugar gets that high, you need to you need to get in an ambulance and go to the hospital immediately. You need to be under doctor's care. Because people have died, it's called complications from diabetes.
Yeah.
And I know several people that have died from it, and I have a list of famous actors that died from it too, very young in their 50s. I was compiling a list because I want to write a book about food health, and my next book will be diabetic health, and it's very important. Some 30 million Americans are diabetic, and I'm sure you got a lot in Australia there, young lady.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of diabetes here too. And unfortunately, I am now one of them. I wasn't always, but I am now one of them too. And
See,
not much fun.
I only touched on topics that I understand from personal experience. That's why I mentioned this music to him that he wasn't exposed to, and it's no fault of his own. Nobody ever introduced him. So when our listeners out there, when they hear something or some music or some tips and clues from us, this is something we know from our personal experience.
Right.
And I've been dealing with diabetes for over a dozen years, so I can give you, I don't give medical advice, but I can give you some tips and clues. And I also advise that all diabetics, in addition to their primary care physician, should visit a podiatrist and keep active on focused on your feet. You know, I knew one story of a lady. She went to a one of these pedicure manicure places. Have you ever been to them, Matt?
The pedicure?
Yeah, pedicure.
I haven't. My parents have, but I haven't.
Oh, well, it was nice. I used to take my daughter, and one time they ran the water way too hot for my foot. When I put it in there, it was scalding hot. These people are not, they're not physicians. You know, they make mistakes. You know, what kind of training does it take to become a pedicure manicurist? I don't know. But I heard one horror story from a friend, and his girlfriend went to, got a pedicure, and what happened is they cut a little too deep. She ends up getting an infection on her foot. Luckily, they didn't have to amputate the toe. She went to the hospital. And a lot of people just don't want to take that ambulance ride. I don't understand why you don't want to go to the hospital, you know.
Yeah.
They put it off, and it's a big mistake. That's why we have doctors. That's why we have, the health system we do in this country. And we have one of the finest health systems in this country. I mean, you read about malpractice and, but those are few and far between. There's always some bad apples in every batch. You have bad mechanics, you have bad lawyers, you have bad doctors, you got some bad policemen, but that's the minor. That's 0.01%. 99.9% of the people are professionals. But you got to go to see your doctor, and you should stay with a podiatrist for your feet. Now, the advantage that I go to the podiatrist, I don't clip my own nails. I don't have my wife do them. I have the podiatrist do it. It's called part of nail service. I go every 3 months.
Okay.
And I tell her, she checks my pulse on my feet. She checks my circulation. She checks other things so she knows I'm diabetic. And one day I started having an ingrown toenail. So it started to get infected. So she took care of it. And after that, she offered me the option I could have minor surgery to eliminate the toenail going in. I no longer get ingrown toenails.
Well, that's good.
On both my big toes, she ended up cutting into it. No longer, it ends before it goes into the skin. You know what I'm saying? And that's the best thing I ever did. I should have done that 25 years ago. So you got to be real careful on injuries to your feet, infections, pedicures, cutting your nails. Just, let me tell you something. I go to the podiatrist. It goes under my Blue Cross. It only costs me $20. Wow. All that entire service, and I have to maintain my feet. It's cheaper than going to a pedicure manicure. You know what I mean?
That's nice that the cost is so low.
Yeah, my copayment is only $20, so I'm glad for $20. For the price of a Happy Meal, I take care. I make sure my feet are taken care of.
Yeah. Yeah, the price of a Happy Meal or a higher, bigger business coffee places too. It's like the prices have gone up as well.
Yeah, and the prices. That's why I'm a firm believer. I buy these gift certificates here, and you got about 6 pages of vendors that we have on the Radio Shopping Network. Folks, I suggest if you want to save some money and still go out and have dinner or have an event like this Oshkosh Air thing that's coming up this weekend. Contact Matt here and get some gift certificates going, and you'll save a lot of money and still have a good time.
Absolutely, especially on Saturdays when I do those further discounts too.
Yeah, but the air show is starting tomorrow, I believe. So if people want to go this weekend, they should come and see you.
Yes, I would stop by. I'll be in there 12 to 3 because that is very time sensitive for the EAA air show. So if you want to stop by, feel free to do that. If you want to check on pricing on specific items, you can call me because we've got that 7,700 now number now back up and running again too.
Very good. What's the full number, man?
The full number is 847-741-7700. That's
one more time for our people that are driving on the highway and have to memorize.
There you go. That is, again, 847-741-7700 is that number to call.
Very good. And what's our call in that we got lines open here now?
Well, we have the number here is 847-931-1410. That's 1410.
And besides our Australian lady, who's clicking on that phone line?
No one else so far.
That's her.
That's who we've got right now on the air. Mm-hmm.
I didn't mean to interrupt, young lady.
Hey, that's all right.
That's all right. Hey, Kathy. Legislator Kathy.
Yes, Kathy.
Kathy, you listening?
Oh, she's listening. Yep.
Marky B. I love cheating her with my Australian accent.
Yeah, she does the little a little funny impression of how she says the Mark Bialec's name, Marky B.
Yeah.
So she goes, Marky B, and that's what she just did. So
she said, I think it was her last week that liked my Chicago accent. I don't even know I got an accent. What can I say, my friend? After a while they lose it. You know what? Talk about Australians. If you watch Mel Gibson's early films, his First Man Max, and listen to his voice compared to the way he is now, you can tell he had the Australian accent, but over the years living in this country, it faded on him.
Well, that's what happened to my grandpa. He was from Bermuda, and so he had a British accent. And so but over time, he developed the non-British accent, but sometimes it would come out a little bit. Avocado pear, he'd say, or bumbershoot, he would say.
Jolly good show. Jolly good show. I love those British movies. I love the British accents. I am a British fan, Yeah. I'll tell you one of my favorite is Bridge in the River Kwai. Have you seen this?
No.
Oh, my God. Matthew, we got to talk about World War II films. Next Friday I'll be in. We're going to talk about British films and especially World War II. And I'm going to tell you something. I had the honor 2 weeks ago of meeting one of the last few World War II veterans. We stood up and gave this man a standing ovation. He's in his mid-90s. Mm-hmm. There's not too many World War II veterans left. And you just don't understand the sacrifice that these men and women made during World War II. And they weren't fighting soldiers, the women in World War II, but we had they were out there. They helped the servicemen, many nurses, people fought in World War II, and we had a lot of female spies. So there was a lot of people I know from stories from my Greek relatives, and we had female guerrillas, believe it or not. They were fighting civilians that fought the Nazis in World War II, and they were executed. In a story my mother used to tell me, my great-grandmother, when the Nazis came into the village in Greece, they were slitting the bellies of every male child, including babies. This was, listen, the Nazis turned the earth into a graveyard. Okay, they killed so many people, and not just the Jewish population. Yes, they did kill the Jewish population, but they were killing nonstop. They devastated France. They devastated England. They devastated Australia. You know, there was a lot of fighting going on in Australia, India, and North Africa. It was a devastating, horrific action taken by Hitler and the Nazis. And what they were doing in Greece, they were slitting the bellies, including male babies. And what my great-grandmother had done, she took my uncle, and he was an infant, and she dressed him as a little girl to fool the Nazis. Yes. But they stripped him down, and they saw he had male appendage, and they were going to crack his skull with the butt of a rifle. And she covered it with her body, and she ended up getting her skull cracked, and she survived it, but she was never the same. You know.
Oh my goodness.
And my uncle just recently passed away. He was 80-something, but he was an infant at the time in the 40s when the Nazis were devastating Greece, and the sacrifices that not only the military made, but the civilians and everybody else. You know what? There's a lot of good books out there that you like reading on World War II, on World War I. It's something we really don't focus on right now. There's a lot of films and stuff being made about the Afghanistan, and I meet with Afghanistan veterans every Tuesday, and that's good to know what happened out there. But let's not forget our and you know what really hurt me? They had some vandalism to there's a statue, a World War I statue to the World War I soldiers on New York, and somebody vandalized it.
Yeah.
And that's really hurtful for those men and women that died out there. And the majority of soldiers that died did not die from gunshot wounds. They died from diseases, malaria, the Spanish flu. That was the 1917 version of COVID.
Yeah, my great aunt died from the Spanish flu in New York.
Yeah, there was no vaccine, there was no isolation. You know, they're out in those trenches. You know, and what these servicemen and women did, the sacrifices they made is just incredible. And we need to honor and respect them, and we need to teach these younger generations a little bit of respect too. And it's not taught in the schools. I'm sorry, it's not taught in the schools. I talk to these kids. I was talking to an English teacher the other day, and I won't mention what school he's in. It's in a suburban area. And I told her, hey, my friend, I'm going to tell you something that I know from many other teachers. These kids can't read. And he looked at me. And I said, these kids can't read. And he says, I agree with you. And you know what? So much stuff is not taught in the schools nowadays. You know they don't even teach cursive handwriting no more? I
love writing in cursive. I know how to write in good, not perfect cursive, but good cursive. And yeah, that's something that isn't taught anymore either.
Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff not being taught. So when these young men and women are joining the military, they're going for a different brand of education, and it will really change their lives. And I have a lot of respect. And when I worked at USO, I thank them all and I salute them. You know, so let's give a hand to these. But they're few. It's compared to all these other kids. And I talked to some of these kids, I'm going downstate. You know, they want to go drinking. They go to some of these colleges to go drinking. Do you need a degree in drinking? Come on.
Right. Yeah. The thing is I never did that. I went to school to go to school.
Did you go downstate?
I was at Judson for a year, and then I graduated from ECC.
Is that downstate?
It's right here in Elgin.
Oh, you know, the local community college, right?
Yep. ECC, local community college.
Oh, Elgin Community College. So you never got a 4-year degree, did you?
No, just associates in art.
I know. I never had one. I never went to college. You know what? Never had one. And I led my life. I built a house. I had a family. You don't need it. You need expertise in your field.
Right.
A lot of people, I suggest going into the trades. You know how hard it is to get a plumber?
I can't imagine. I mean, I'm sure. I mean, you know.
You know, there's shortage. Electricians, heating and air, plumbing. You know, those are great occupations.
Yeah.
You know?
So, well, we're going to take a quick time out here. Thank you for everyone for joining in and listening in as well. When we come back, we'll discuss more into the show here. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere.
A recent Gallup poll indicated that 38% of Americans are putting off health care because of financial concerns, the highest ever recorded. I'm Dr. Bob Martin, here to serve you every Sunday afternoon from 1 to 4. Millions of Americans are seeking health advice that will not cost an arm and a leg, so I offer health tips and advice absolutely free. Listen to my show, Sunday afternoons from 1 to 4 right here on WRMN, AM 1410 and 96.7 FM, the voice of the Valley and the home of a radio shopping show.
Come on out to the Country Donuts, that is, at Route 20 and Nestler Road. They're always open. Donuts are made daily using only the finest ingredients to ensure freshness. Their huge variety of donuts offers something to please everyone. Country Donuts doesn't stop at offering you the best donuts. Enjoy a delicious breakfast sandwich or stop in for lunch and try a bowl of their famous chili. Need a larger or special donut order for your office? Call 847-488-1900.
Your hometown radio station since 1949. We are WRMN AM 1410, Elgin time, 5 o'clock.
With your AM 1410 WRMN Newsflash, I'm Sean Kernan. Brought to you by Bank of America Merrill Investments. The Government Finance Officers Association has awarded Kane County with the Distinguished Budget Presentation Award. The accolade acknowledges the county's excellence in budgeting practices across several criteria, including policy documentation and financial planning. The streets of Elgin's Northeast neighborhood are gearing up for an exhilarating day as the Elgin Classic returns on July 26th. The event, once known as the Dennis Jurors Memorial Race, honors the late Dennis Jurors, a local cyclist who tragically died during a ride in 2015. As part of the Chicago Grit Series, the Elgin Classic draws cyclists globally to its renowned Criterium-style course Saturday, July 26th from 10 a.m. until 8 p.m. Following the destructive storms on July 14th and 15th, Kane County officials are urging local business owners to report uninsured or underinsured losses to qualify for potential financial assistance. Contact Kane County Connects for more information. With your AM 1410 WRMN Newsflash, I'm Sean Kernan.
The war that has killed more than 39,000 Palestinians
or a global
from getting
one.
closer to the capital.
You know that these days, generating growth is a challenge. By teaming with Bank of America, you'll not just stay ahead of the curve, you'll move it. With access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2024, Bank of America, N.A.
At Skechers, we put the S in comfort. Now, I know you're probably spelling comfort in your head and asking yourself, is that possible? Am I just a really bad speller? Look, I don't know your spelling aptitude, but Skechers most definitely put the S in comfort, because Skechers is the comfort technology company and has developed fits and features that change everything you know about comfort. Like hands-free Skechers slip-ins, the ultimate in comfort and convenience. It's footwear you just step into and they're on, with no bending down. Find Skechers at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
Sunday, July 21st at 1 p.m. is PJ Masks Meet and Greet and Shriners Day Game. Come on out and meet PJ Masks. A special ticket package is available and will guarantee your spot to meet PJ Masks. Presented by Waterville Advisors. Specialty jerseys will be auctioned off, benefiting Shriners Children's Hospital. Enjoy a Schaumburg Club brunch buffet special in the Schaumburg Club. Reserve your space early as capacity is limited. Game ticket is required. Also, pregame touch on the field and postgame autographs. Presented by Wintrust.
If you want in on this action, listen closely. For a short amount of time, I'm opening up free access to some of these
The Distance Social, your spot for great craft cocktails with meaningful conversation. Whether you're out entertaining a group or out for a memorable nightcap, The Distance Social is your spot for starting or ending the perfect evening. Located at 314 North River Street in beautiful East Dundee, Illinois. Go the distance and find your social at The Distance Social.
Text trade to 76626.
Progressive presents the Sports Flash on News Talk Radio 1410 WRMN.
And the 2-2. Driven in the air, right field, back goes Frelick, still going, that ball is gone! A line drive, home run!
The action on Cubs Radio in Monday's 3-1 win over the Brewers at Wrigley Field. Chicago used 6 pitchers. Ian Happ hit a solo homer. Brewers rookie Tobias Myers dropped to 6-4. He allowed 3 runs, 2 earned on 6 hits over 5 1/3. The Cubs have won 2 in a row in 6 of 10. They've climbed out of last in the National League Central. They're a half game ahead of Cincinnati. It was a 10-inning win in Texas for the Rangers over the White Sox, 4-3 the final. Chicago's losing skid has hit 8. They've lost 9 of 10. Last night's loss, their 75th of the season. They have the worst record in baseball at 27-75. Bears training camp continues as the team gets set for the Hall of Fame game on August 1st. Bundle auto and home, renters or condo, and save with Progressive. I'm Chuck Sanders on News Talk Radio 1410 WRMN.
Life hack number 7. Get an iPhone 12 on Straight Talk. Life hack. Here's how it works. You walk into Walmart, go to the electronics section, ask for iPhone 12 with 5G and a dual camera system, and select the new Silver Unlimited plan. They'll smile because it's a good plan. You get real unlimited data all for just $20 a month for the whole first year. Get it at Walmart or StraightTalk.com. Straight Talk. Less dollars, more sense. Taxes and fees apply. Requires activation of iPhone 12 and a new Silver Unlimited plan or higher-end auto pay enrollment. $25 a month service credit applied for up to 12 months if eligibility requirements are met. For network management practices, visit StraightTalk.com.
If there's one sale I'm always going to shop, it's Kohl's Friends and Family Sale. I just saved an extra 25% because I spent $75. But even if you spend less, you can still save with 20%. And Kohl's has everything you need for summer fun. I got a cute dress for myself, a casual polo for my husband, and a Ninja Creamy that we can't wait to use. Oh, and I earned Kohl's cash. Kohl's. Your Friends and Family Sale never fails me. Select styles, some exclusions.
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your Senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 800-699-9043.
You know the day destroys the night, night divides the day. Try to run, try to hide, break on through to the other side, break on through to the other side, break on through to the other side, yeah. We chased our pleasures here, dug our treasures there, but can you still recall the time we cried, break on through to the other side, break on through to the other side.
Oh, I like that part. That was cool. That part of it.
Bossa Nova sound.
Yeah. I like that. That's cool.
Yeah,
Very
listen
cool.
to the whole song after we get off the air.
Okay.
And I'm the guest on his show today.
Yes.
Let's start off, Matthew.
Well, we're going to start off here with a little Tradio. We've got a Tradio announcement here I want to announce to everyone here. So we have a Tradio caller, has some original theatrical film posters that are for sale by a collector. Now, the collections include posters from John Wayne films, Steve McQueen films, Julia Roberts films, 1970s science fiction, as well as Scarface film poster, The Exorcist, do-do-do-do-do-do. You know that one, of course.
Tubular Bells.
Tubular Bells, yep. and so much more. So if you are interested, feel free to give this fellow collector a texting here. That is 708 793-3980. Again, that's 708-793-3980. Very nice. Very nice.
All right,
indeed.
so you were playing Jim Morrison and the Doors, and the reason we're playing that is for the last couple hours I've been educating you and our listeners to Jim Morrison and the Doors, which was a 1965 rock and roll band formed in Los Angeles, and the lead singer, Jim Morrison, unfortunately passed away as a heart attack in a bathtub in in Paris, France. Well, he was living out in Paris, France at the age of 27, and a lot of it had to do with alcohol abuse, which damages, your alcohol does a lot of damage to the body.
Yep.
I've seen, as an alcohol expert, and as a policeman, I've seen people that are 30, 40 years old, they look 50, 60. The alcohol devastates the body, and it really shows on you. Mm. And you see some of these actors that were alcoholics, and you'll see they were 50 years old. They look like they're mid-60s, And it's just a tough thing. But the Doors, their music will live on forever. And while we were playing this, we had a young, or older couple, rather, I should say, passing by.
Yeah, they were they were a couple that passed by, and they said, "Hey, you're going to learn. Good luck learning some of that music."
Yeah, and they said they made a good comment. I was talking about the Doors, and he said, they're classics. Mm-hmm. These are classics. I agree. Even though the 60s wasn't that long ago, for some younger ones it was, but these are classics. And even though I grew up with them and I'm familiar with them and their backstory, their music lives on, and our younger generation who has not been exposed to it needs to be exposed to it.
I was exposed to some of it, though, like the Beatles. My dad listened to the Beatles. I'd listen to it in the car ride. And
yes, but they were referred to as the British invasion. The Beatles, the Zombies, they came over in the mid-'60s. They were in the Ed Sullivan Show. And, there's Ed Sullivan Show reruns on MeTV on Sunday nights, 9-ish. This is pretty good, but you can find a lot of these Ed Sullivan Show reruns with these groups on YouTube. I'm a big YouTube fan. I cruise YouTube. And not only to hear good music and to listen and relive some, but I do it as research. I look at the comments that people put on there, and sometimes they put little backstories that I was unfamiliar with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
There's a lot of knowledge out there, and that's the whole thing about talk radio. We try to get our knowledge out there. Even I learn stuff that I'm not aware of. You're never done with learning. Your mind should be like a sponge. Talk radio should be about that, not just for venting about politics or religion. Because like I've said before, those are two topics I really don't discuss. Vote whoever you want for and pray to whoever you want for. It's not for me to tell you or you to tell me. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, these were the first time you heard some of those Doors songs, right?
Well, there are ones that I was like, oh, I recognize that. I've heard that before.
But you really liked Riders on the Storm. That really clicked with you, correct?
That I liked, yeah. That clicked with me.
I am glad I exposed you. Next few days before our Saturday broadcast of Four
Corners Radio.
Four Corners Radio. Now you confuse me. Four Corners Radio. Your research is to go on YouTube and listen to some Doors music. And just right now, I just popped their top 20 songs, so you could just go with those and just listen to a full song. And watch some of those videos, the way Jim Morrison was dancing on stage. He had so much energy. And he was doing good, but what happened to him, his alcoholism just made him fall apart, and he ended up getting arrested for some antics on stage. And those arrests were just devastating his career. But like I said, his music lives on. Mm-hmm. And it's the way the music makes you feel. Yep. Music makes you feel a certain way. Movies make you feel a certain way. The late Bob Newhart made a comment that he did comedy to help people try to get through bad times.
Right.
And God bless him. Everybody's got an important job out there. The police and fire and the military are first responders. We got a nice poster next door of first responders. I like that. I remember one time I was picking up my kids that were small from school. One of the parents was at one of the dads, and we started talking. And I had some bizarre case he was telling me about, and I go, I forgot what you do. And he says, oh, I'm just a car mechanic. I said, no, you're not just a car mechanic. When my car's broken down on Milwaukee Avenue, people are slamming on the brakes, you're my lifesaver.
Mm-hmm.
I need you, just like I need the tow truck driver. Just like I look how hot it was the other day. I need the heating and air people.
Yeah.
Every job is important. There's no just job. And I've heard this expression, treat the janitor of the school the way you would treat the principal of the school.
Mm-hmm.
Every job is important out there, whether you're a janitor or you're a car mechanic or you're a heating and air guy or a plumber. I had such a plumbing problem one time. They came out, I called the plumbing service. They came out late at night before a holiday. Now they charged me like $400, but my sewer was backing up. They had to come rot it out, and you know Murphy's Law, at the worst possible time, the worst possible thing will happen. And that's what was happening. And if it wasn't for them, I would have had sewer backup all over my basement. I would have had a lot of books damaged, a lot of other personal materials destroyed. I needed those plumbers in the middle of the night on a holiday week, wintertime. I needed them. I need plumbers. I need heating and air people. And you know, the heating and air people were running around like crazy these last few days. This was ridiculous, this humidity.
Mm-hmm.
This heat. Yeah. You said you couldn't even go out walk the dog, right?
Yeah, it was too hot, too humid. Way too humid out.
That was on Sunday, right?
It was Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday was brutal. Yeah. I started off at the flea market, trying to save a few dollars, folks. Flea market's a good thing.
Oh, yes.
Hey, let me give some people some tips and clues about the flea market. If you're going to the Rosemont Flea Market, 6 a.m. is actually opening time. The admittance is $3. Unless you're a senior, it's $2. But you can come in before 6 a.m. You can pay $5 for an early bird special, and you can come in as early as 2 in the morning.
2 in the morning?
Yeah, you know why I do it? The vendors come in at midnight, okay? The vendors start setting up. They keep coming out all the way up until 6 in the morning. Some even come in later. There's no penalty if they come in later.
I'm writing this down for myself.
Yes. So I come in at 2:30 in the morning. I don't go to sleep Saturday night. So I come in, and as they're setting up, not everybody's set up, but the ones that are set up, I find some good deals. Early bird catches the worm.
That's what I say. Oh, that's what I say during the radio shopping show at 8 a.m. The early bird callers get the worm.
Yes, and we can't take credit for this. Somebody 100 years ago.
Someone else did it, yeah. It's not me, but...
I think it was Bill Sparrow said that.
Bill Sparrow.
Yeah, you get that? It's a joke.
Yep.
I'm sorry. Don't call into that.
Oh, my goodness.
Our call lines are open, right?
Oh, we are. Yeah, they are open. We actually do have another caller on hold. Hi there, caller. You're on to the WRMN.
Hey, how you guys doing, gentlemen? Downtown Jose, enjoying the show?
Hey, good to hear from you. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Just got done riding from East Dundee, heading back to Elgin, so I'm good. I'm got my workout on. I want to say, Matt, if you never heard The Doors, listen to the song called "Break On Through the Other Side."
Yep, we just played it. Yeah,
that's probably the number one song that put them on the map when they were hungry. You know.
Cool. Yeah, we just played that song. It was the intro.
If you're familiar with Los Angeles and the history of Los Angeles, there was a rock club, a club back then called Whiskey A Go-Go. Very famous. A lot of the early groups played there. The Doors was famous for playing there at the Whiskey A Go-Go. No longer exists, but it's part of Los Angeles in music history.
That's awesome, man. I got the collar back from Jim Morrison. It's a thick book, maybe about 1,500 pages, and it's a good book. But I just want to say I enjoy the show, and you guys keep doing your thing, and yeah, I love you guys.
No, listen, the book that I read, and I read this when I was in the Navy, 1981, 82. It was called, let me see if I got a little note here. Yes, No One Here Gets Out Alive by Jerry Hopkins. It is on Amazon. You get a used copy for about $8. You could probably find it on eBay too. But it's an incredible book about Jim Morrison. Let me give you the title again. No One Here Gets Out Alive. It's a great title. I thought it was a very shocking title when I first heard it. No One Here Gets Out Alive by Jerry Hopkins, and that's the story of Jim Morrison. If you haven't read that, you should read that. It's very interesting take on his life.
Yes, he was an original. So God bless him and his soul, and enjoy the show, and you guys keep doing your thing.
All right. Sounds good, Fred. Thanks for calling in today.
All right. God bless you guys. Be good.
Thank you. All right. Bye-bye now. That was Westside Fred calling in.
That was, is there another call line? Is that
we've got Derica here again. Hello.
Hi.
She's still listening in. I know that you're enjoying the show as well.
Yeah, I am.
Very good.
Good eye to Westside Fred.
Yeah. So, have you had your breakfast yet? Keep asking that.
Not yet.
Not yet. What time is it over there? Because it's 5:00 here.
PM.
PM.
Yeah, it is. 8:18.
8:18.
18 minutes past. 18 minutes past 8 in the morning.
Okay.
Thursday morning.
Okay. Well, very nice. Very nice. Well, again, thank you so much for listening in. We appreciate it.
That's all right. I just like to say hello to everyone who's listening right now.
Awesome. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your morning today.
I will. And hello to your boss.
Absolutely. Thanks again, Derica, for tuning in.
Thanks, all right.
All righty. Take care now.
I'm going to go.
All right. Bye-bye now. All right, that was Derica listening in here. And yes, exactly here when it comes to the radio here. We love it when you folks call in, when you be a part of the conversation. Feel free to comment live on YouTube as well, too, there as well. So, again, we still have about 40 minutes left of the show. Yes, about 40 or so. So was there anything else that you wanted to mention here, Bill, in particular?
Yeah, well, we're talking about Jim Morrison today. If you're just joining us, we started the conversation at 3 o'clock. But, you know, Jim Morrison, The Doors, we could talk about it. You could teach a whole course in college about that. And if you're familiar with it, this is just nostalgia for you, like the gentleman was talking about breaking on through to the other side. Mm-hmm. This is just nostalgia, but there's people like yourself that have never been exposed to this music, and that's the message we're trying to get out. Listen to different types of music other than your normal, whatever people listen to, Taylor Swift or whatever. Trying to expand your knowledge of, especially arts and entertainment. It's something that a lot of people don't think about. It's something that, but in the long run, it can help you, because if you're depressed, if you're feeling the blues, good music therapy, I'm a firm believer in it. You can listen to some tunes and really cheer you up. And if you read about people's other stories, what these other people went through, it's really a warning. With Jim Morrison, he had a beautiful angelic voice, as you've heard. Mm-hmm. And, you know, now they use a lot of auto-tune and a lot of crazy stuff to make the records better and everything like that, whatever they use now. But back then, these were the artists. Yeah. You know, they sang, they'd be hours, days in those studios. They'd go live on stage. Mm-hmm. You know, you don't get too much of that. No, now there's a lot of technical stuff that goes into making an album, you know, where before they weren't getting it right. You know, if you listen to somebody like Frank Sinatra, and you'll see some videos, Frank could listen and he'll tell, hey, the bass is off, this is off. These were people's, these were artists, they knew music. Mm-hmm. You know, they don't have to play the music. Right. You know, Frank Sinatra was just a singer. He didn't play bass guitar. He didn't play the drums, but he knew when something wasn't right. You know, and that knowledge, you know, there are musicians, famous musicians, I have to research who they are, but they can't even read music. Did you know that?
Really?
Yes, but they're such good singers.
Oh, reading music. Okay.
Yeah, reading music. You know, I took guitar lessons when I was a kid, so I know how music, you know, you read music, you know. Mm-hmm. And, you know, G minor, F flat, you know, I can read some music. I haven't done it in years, but you can read music. And a lot of artists write their own music, and they write the tunes and write the words. Mm-hmm. And just to get those tunes, and the beginning of The Doors is really a long melodic intro. Are you recognizing this?
I am, yeah.
Yes. So, I mean, they just don't start off with the songs, with the words immediately. There's an intro, especially Riders on the Storm.
Mm-hmm.
That is my personal favorite. Absolutely my personal favorite of The Doors. Riders on the Storm.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm sorry I can't sing, folks. I would need to be synthesized in the studio to sing it right. You know, but it's something we want to expose to. And you people that are listening out there, your kids, your grandkids, take a few moments out and just tell them, just like we do, play a CD for them. And a lot of its stuff is found on YouTube.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of YouTube, but I also listen to a lot of CDs. I bought actually another handheld. You could go to the beach. CD, AM, FM radio, cassette. It's got the whole thing. I think I got for like $100.
Okay.
They still make these products.
Yeah,
and
that's
by
good.
the way, they make DVD players. You should get one.
I do have one somewhere. You know what I used to love? I was always jealous of people that had Blu-ray.
I don't care for the Blu-ray. For some reason, I get like a distortion with my Blu-ray. Maybe it's my player or whatever. It looks like the picture pops up and then closes. It pops up. Looks like it changes dimensions. But I have 99% of my collection is DVDs. So,
Cool.
I like the DVDs, and I like some old stuff on there. And speaking of films, there was a film made in 1991 called The Doors, in reference to Jim Morrison and The Doors. Don't take it for gospel. Don't take this film as a documentary, because a lot of stuff in there that they got Jim Morrison doing just didn't happen. But it's an incredible performance by Val Kilmer as Jim Morrison. And the music is in the background. So just take a quick look at it. And, a lot of local libraries also, for free, give you DVDs that you can rent out.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Gilboa Library, of course, does that. Any other local library will also do that, too. So it's good to also check it out.
And there's a library system that they can borrow from other libraries.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had them borrow other DVDs I'm looking for, or even books. They're in this big, huge system, and they'll borrow from Sauk Village or Elk Grove or Elgin. And these libraries are in a system, borrow from each other. And I have a week or 10 days to read it, and I got to get it back or get the DVD back. And sometimes I want to buy the book for myself, and I like a keeper. Like, I'm a big Jaws fan. Jaws, the movie?
Yes.
But I've also read the book. I read the book in the 70s. So I went on eBay and I rebought a hardcover. Mm-hmm. And it was actually 3 books in one. It was Jaws, The Girl of Cortez, and something else. And I think I got it for like $15. But I'm a big fan of finding out some of this older stuff on eBay.
Mm-hmm.
And I like a hard book to read. And I don't like reading off the Kindle, like you were saying. It's just too hard on my eyes, And the nice thing about reading, if I read late at night, it puts me to sleep. I'll fall asleep with the book. I'll wake up 3 hours later. The book's in my lap,
Yeah, I used to do that too. It had to be a book that I enjoyed reading. Like I used to sometimes we would have books that we had to read for school.
Mother Goose.
Mother Goose.
Oh, you're talking about school.
School, yeah, the books that we used to read in school. But for me, it was more of when I got to choose my own book. That's what I liked.
I named Mother Goose as a joke, but that's the earliest recollection of a book that I remember reading. And there was another book I read when I was a little kid, I don't know, 2nd grade, and I happened to mention to my wife, it's called Caps for Sale. Caps, like a hat, C-A-P-S. And I read it like in 2nd grade, and it was about this guy selling caps, and it's an illustrated book. It's not a long book. It's a kid's book, right? My wife was at some place in Seattle, Washington. She sees the book. It's been republished. She bought it for me.
Yeah. I used to read this one too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she bought it for me. So what I did, I put it in the frame.
Oh my goodness, really?
It brings back my childhood.
Aw, that is so cool. Yeah, oh goodness me, hang on a sec. My screen is a little goofy here. There we go. Okay. So yeah, that one's another one that my parents used to read to me too.
Yeah, it's an interesting book, and if you guys get little kids or grandkids, these are the type of books you should read for them. Don't count on the schools to educate them thinking, and I hate when people use the schools as daycare. They drop off their kids and they pick them up. You know what I mean? The schools are not a daycare system, and not all schools are built the same. You got different teachers teaching different courses, handling kids differently. Unfortunately, my daughter, when she was very young, she had a bad teacher. They ended up firing this teacher. She was abusive emotionally to the kids. She was very rough on little kids. And if you don't have the patience with children, you should not be a teacher.
Yeah. I completely agree. You got to have patience. You got to have, patience and knowledge.
Yes.
As well.
Yes. So, but don't count on the teachers in school to teach the kids. Luckily, my daughter, she took a film study class. I happen to tell this at Out to Lunch. And this was, maybe 15, 16 years ago, longer. And it was a film study class, and maybe there was 50 students. It was high school, not college. And the instructor, the teacher said, "Does anybody know who Rod Serling is?" So she looks around. Nobody's raising their hands out of 50 kids.
Mm-hmm.
So she slowly puts up 2 fingers and goes, "Yes." And she says, "The Twilight Zone." Correct. She was the only one they knew because I exposed my kids growing up to the things I grew up with. The Twilight Zone, Gilligan's Island, Bewitched, Hogan's Heroes. These are the shows I grew up with, and I exposed them. Now, of course, my son, I showed him a little more like Wild Wild West, more Westerns than I would show my daughter. But my daughter knew about I Dream of Jeannie, which was one of my favorite. You want to kick back or relax. This is such innocent classics. No swearing. Watch some of these 60s.
Yeah.
There's a catchy comedy channel now that plays a lot of this. Are you familiar with this channel on cable called Catchy Comedy? Yeah, they play on the weekends. They'll have a whole when they show all the episodes. What do you call that? A marathon.
Yeah, marathon. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, marathon. 2-3 weeks ago they had. It loses me. I should write notes down. But they had a TV show that was on. I think it was Three's Company, and there was a 70s show. That was when Suzanne Summers became big. Are you familiar with Three's Company? No? Okay. I actually have the first season DVD, and I like the first season. I'm going to bring it to you. As soon as you buy a DVD player, which is on Amazon and eBay.com.
Yes, it is. Of course, you can buy those stuff there. Absolutely.
Okay, and you got some Tradios to talk about,
I
right?
do, yep. We actually do have to take a quick time out. It is 5:30 already here, so we'll take a quick time out. And you want to stay for the rest of the show? I'm
going to stick another 15 minutes when we come back. Please, if you have a question, we're phone lines are open. 847-931-1410.
There you go. We'll be back in just a little bit.
Looking to get your fingers on some delicious grub? Look no further than Sticky Fingers in Carpentersville. Family owned and operated, Sticky Fingers specializes in chicken, fish, and shrimp, which you can choose to have dusted with flavor or doused in the sauce of your choice. Sticky Fingers strives to provide flavorful food with fresh, locally sourced ingredients. Sticky Fingers personally invites you to stop by and try one of their scrumptious dishes today.
For exceptional home-cooked meals, visit the longest family-owned restaurant in Elgin. Paul's Family Restaurant at Lawrence and McLean takes pride in their fresh daily specials like steaks, fish, pasta, soups, and more. Paul's fresh buttermilk pancakes and breakfast skillets are phenomenal. As you walk in, you can't help but notice owner Elaine's wonderful eye for detail. The toughest decision you'll have to make is what size leftover box to take home. Call 847-695-8687.
How many times have you heard about or driven past the Volo Auto Museum and still haven't checked it out? They have over 200,000 square feet of heated showrooms filled with countless collections of the most amazing mechanical marvels in the world. From incredible collector cars, movie cars, trains, boats, and planes, to a Disney gallery, dinosaurs, vintage arcades, kiddie rides, and a medieval torture exhibit, plus the Titanic Museum. They're open every day from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Visit VoloFun.com.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. No matter the time of the day, WRMN 1410 AM is your platform to voice your views, share your stories, and connect with the Valley like never before. We're more than just radio. We're a community conversation that's always live, always local, and always looking for your input. Want to chime in on the drive time deal with Matt McNeil? Got a hot tip for first shift with Marky B? Or maybe you've got a question for a one-on-one with Leah. Now's the time to make your voice heard by calling Studio 14 at 847-931-1410. That's 847-931-1410. You can join in the dialogue from wherever you are by commenting on our YouTube live streams at WRMN Radio. Hit the subscribe button to get notified when we go live and bring your comments to the table. It's easy, it's fun, and hey, it's what neighbors do. We talk, we listen, we engage. You're not just the audience, you're part of the show. Call in, comment, and let's make radio interactive. WRMN 1410 AM, where your words are part of our wavelength. For local information and fun times in the mornings, listen to Marky B and Larry Jones on the first shift.
Maybe we need to get a radio intern in to help you.
Maybe so.
Somebody that you won't have to pay and you can treat them tough.
I can haze them.
You can't haze. You'll get fired. Remember that guy from Northwestern?
Yeah.
Gone.
Did he really do it?
You don't have to really do it. If somebody says you did,
yeah,
good enough. Maybe I'm going to accuse you of hazing me. I don't have to prove it.
It's the first shift, weekdays from 6 to 10 a.m. right here on WRMN.
From morning coffee to your evening commute, WRMN 1410 AM is here for you, the faithful friend that brings you local news, timely topics, and the friendliest voices in the Valley. Stay informed, entertained, and engaged with our full lineup of shows, streaming all day, every day at WRMN1410.com or on the WRMN app. Wherever you are, we're right there with you. So why switch stations? Stick with the one that has it all. WRMN 1410 AM, your daily companion, your constant conversation.
Keep informed with everything that's going on with the Radio Shopping Show by joining our VIP Text Club today. All you have to do is text the message WRMN 1410 to the number 94253 and you're in. You'll receive timely information about shopping show specials instantaneously as they happen. Message and data rates may apply. The voice of the Valley and the home of the Radio Shopping Show, we are WRMN AM 1410 and 96.7 FM.
Like a dog without a bone, and hack we're out alone, riders on the storm. There's a killer on the road, his brain is squirming like a toad. Take a long holiday, let your children play. If you give this man a ride, sweet family will die. Killer on the road, yeah.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to the Midday Drive. We've got Bill here with us today. Thank you so much for stopping into the studio and joining us live here on WRMN.
This is William Pellerinos from Four Corners Radio on Saturdays. Man asked me to drop in and do a little arts and entertainment section because I haven't been able to get to it on my show because talking about so much legalese and crime and everything else that we talk about, civil and criminal cases. Mm-hmm. We're on Saturday at 12:05. We go live right after the Radio Shopping Show, which is a great show. What time do you start there in the morning?
We start at 8 a.m. in the morning, as I say, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
Yes, and last weekend I noticed, and the office, the Redemption Center, is open from, 9 till 3?
On Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I noticed last Saturday you had a big... yeah, you had a... We won't even talk about that. There, people are passing by the street doing crazy stuff in front of us, but we love them. We're people, or if you're not a people person, you shouldn't be on talk radio.
Exactly. I agree.
Leave all this aggression and everything to the political commentators. We're talking about Jim Morrison and the Doors, baby.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? We got some great comments here. I wanted to mention some of them here. We have Brendan saying happy that today's his birthday. So happy birthday, Brendan.
Happy birthday.
Yes, happy birthday, Brendan. Catherine says, happy birthday. You are exceptionally inclined. And
to Brendan or to us?
To Brendan here. I'm sure also as well. And he says, thank you. She goes, do you like chocolate cake or vanilla? I like vanilla cake, he says. We have Dino here. Hey, Brendan, happy birthday, my man. And he says, thank you. Dean then goes, hey, Matt, they say you can't pick your family, but you sure picked a great guest for today's show. Bill carries a wealth of knowledge in so many areas. Great guy, great friend, great show, as always. Thank you so much to Dean for commenting in, as well as everyone else out there as well who are joining into the conversation here at your radio station, WRMN, AM 1410. Voice of the Valley, talk of the town.
Folks, as Matt knows, I'm a DUI expert. I teach classes. I used to teach to police officers, and I still do periodically. Those classes I taught in the academy were 8 hours long. I teach CLE classes, continuing legal education, to attorneys on DUI detection, breathalyzer machines. I can talk 8 hours on a subject that I know. Mm-hmm. If I don't know a topic, I'm not going to throw my 2 cents worth. I don't speculate. Like I know zip about football. We're not,
I don't know anything either.
I was on a talk show at WCGO, and they switched the topic to football. And they go, Bill, what do you think? Yeah, it's nice. I couldn't comment. I don't watch football, and not there's anything wrong with football, just not my cup of tea. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that was something I couldn't talk about. But when we talk about music that I know, especially today, I wanted to touch on the Doors because you weren't familiar with it, and I'm glad we introduced you to it. And I hope that our listeners introduce their children, grandchildren to great songs like this, because there's a couple of people passing by said these are the classics, and that's true. Mm-hmm. And I read a lot of YouTube comments, and somebody said, I miss those days. They grew up in the 60s and 70s like I did. And just like with anything else, there's good and bad in those times. But as far as the music that was coming out was just revolutionary. The Doors, the Zombies. We'll get in an episode with the Zombies later on. They were part of the British invasion. Badfinger, their story is so tragic. They were so talented guys, but they were ripped off by their manager. And 2 of the guys ended up committing suicide. And if you watch the videos that are on YouTube to their songs, and I get goosebumps because you have such beautiful talent. I can't sing like these people. I don't have a voice like Jim Morrison. I mean, these people sing to the heavens. You know what I'm saying? And I like listening to, Jefferson Airplane and stuff like that. Now, you don't even know what Jefferson Airplane is, do you?
I've heard of Jefferson Airplane, yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Need Somebody to Love. It was Grace Slick. She had a voice that sung to the heavens. And she's still alive. She's in her 80s. She's one of these 60s rockers that didn't die from a overdose or alcohol abuse or anything else they went through. Are you familiar with Jimi Hendrix?
Jimi Hendrix I've heard of, yes.
Yeah, he's an icon. They sell his music as posters. It's incredible, his songs. We'll go over it one more day. I'm going to try to pop back on this show because I'm actually getting some positive text messages. Where are these people on Saturdays? Yeah. Where are the call-ins and the YouTubers and the text messengers on Saturdays? But please listen to my show Saturday, 12:05 p.m. I go live with Matthew here. And I do kick in early to talk about some of these, gift certificates that they sell. If I've gone to the place, I buy these myself, and I'll give you a little critique. Mm-hmm. What's good, what's bad, what you should do. Maybe they got a unique item that they offer.
Right.
I tell people, you could have the best product out there, but if people don't know, then, you can't sell your product. And something that I found out through these gift certificates that I mentioned a couple of times is this JoJo's Restaurant in Schaumburg on Gulf Road. I've used 2 gift certificates for them already, and I just love their food. Spectacular food. And but the thing is about them, they close early, close 8 p.m. So if you're going to jump in for dinner, try not to be later than 7:30. There's no late dinner with these guys. Where sometimes I'm a late night eater. So I go to Superdog in the city, Milwaukee and Devon. They're open until 1 in the morning.
Really?
So I'll get my Superdog or my Whooper Cheesy, and, sometimes I'm eating at midnight, which is not a good thing. But I try to stay away from the carbs.
Yeah.
But my 3/4 of my life has always been working nights, so I'm a night owl.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I'm up early in the morning, it's because I've been up all night. And we were talking about the flea market. And I'll stay up all Saturday night. I go at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning sometimes, whenever I get out there, before the crowd comes in, while the vendors are setting up. I pay a $5 early bird fee. And it's really weird watching the sun come up. You know, I'm out there in Rosemont walking around, all of a sudden the sun comes up. And last Sunday, I got there about 4:30, a little later, and the sun comes up around 5:15, 5:20.
Mm-hmm.
But as time went on, 7:30, it started getting hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sunday was a brutally hot day, humid. I had to give it up, and I would have stayed another hour and a half, but the humidity started coming real early in the morning. So I left maybe about 8-ish by the time I packed everything away and I got home. But I stayed inside with the air conditioning all Sunday until that sun dropped. It was a brutal. I found it brutal. Did you find it brutal?
I did, because I don't like the humidity. It's too, and especially when it's very, I am more of like we talked about before, the fall time. I love wearing long sleeves in comparison to short sleeves. I don't mind short sleeves, but I love long sleeve shirts where it's, a little bit more buttoned or a little sweater.
Well,
so
I know what to get you for Christmas.
Well, thank you.
It's long sleeve shirts. Let me go on eBay right now and get you some. Oh, here's some pre-owned.
Yeah, pre-owned ones. You know what? Oh, good one.
Here, it's $3.99.
Yeah, I'd have to physically look at the shirt before getting it. But yeah,
don't worry. If I bought it, I'd read you one. Don't worry. And I give you a gift receipt, so if it don't fit, you take it back.
Sounds good.
Anyways, with that being said, I want to just finish up because I got a dinner engagement tonight. I'm leaving in about 2 minutes. I got the positive comments and texts and YouTubers, so I'm going to try to come back next Friday on this show, and we'll pick another rock group or something people should be familiar with, and I'll do some research and try to get some of my favorite rock groups and tell you the backstories, how the group formed or what the problems they went through. Many, many, many of these rock groups have had their ups and downs. Even a famous group like the Rolling Stones has had issues,
Mm-hmm.
So, and here I told him about the Who, and he says, who are the Who? So we might talk about the Who.
Sounds good.
So anyways, let me get out of here. You finish up with your Tradio and let them know about your gift certificates and the Redemption Center. You know that Oshkosh Air Show is coming this weekend, so if you guys want to go, I suggest you buy the ticket today or tomorrow, and you're going to be at the Redemption Center for 3 hours before the broadcast.
Yeah, so if you are interested, feel free to call the 847-741-7700 number, or you can even stop by too. So feel free to
12
stop
to
by.
3, and he's going to have a reduced price on those air show tickets, and it's a phenomenal show because my buddy's going out there. So I can't make it. It's just too far. It's like a good 3 hours. So, don't wait till Saturday morning. Come pick up these tickets.
Right.
Because you got a 3-hour drive. I suggest coming tomorrow. Man's coming in early. That's one of the nicest. We got nice weather. Let's enjoy this outside stuff.
Exactly. Absolutely.
All right. I want to give everybody an adieu and a thank you. And thank you for listening. And listen to my show on Saturday. I'll be here at 12:05 with Four Corners Radio, and we'll be recapping the season with some legal issues that we've talked about. See you guys Saturday.
All right.
Finish up.
Sounds good. Thanks again for stopping in. That is Bill Pellerinos. Yes, Bill is a classic. Thank you, Dean. And I hope you all are enjoying the show here. You're enjoying the ride with the Midday Drive. I had a great time. This was nice. It was definitely different from what I have been doing before. I bring up, the news and what's happening, and of course, like the National Day calendar. But it was nice to have a nice change of pace where I was able to communicate back and forth with Bill here, and he was also able to communicate with me on some classic music that I definitely will be doing that for sure. I actually got a text from Anne Marie here saying, "Shame on you, watch Caddyshack." She says it's funny, so I'm gonna have to do that. I said I need to add these movies to my list. So there you go. What I want to do here is go through the Tradio announcements, talking about who recently has called in or given Tradio announcements within the past couple of 3 weeks or so. I've been kind of expanding the time when it comes to Tradio. In the past, we've done it for every, in the past 2 weeks, but I've been expanding more on it too. So there you go. We're going to start off here with some other previous Tradio callers that have called. I talked about the caller that has hundreds of posters. We've talked about that there too. If you want to give him an email, shoot him an email. That's billsellsposters@gmail.com. Or you can also text him too. Send him a little text message. That number is 708-793-3980. Some other Tradio callers here that have called in. Again, another Tradio caller is the 15 8-foot fluorescent bulbs, one a piece, $1 a piece. I said $1 a pie written here because I didn't finish the word piece. It's $1 a piece or $10 for all of them together. And then he also has 15 4-foot light bulbs, light fixtures. They are 2 bulb fixtures. I'll make sure to write that down here too. And that they also come with the bulbs. So they come with the bulbs. $20 a piece or best offer. If anyone is interested, feel free to reach out to this good fellow here. That is 847-697-7876. Again, 847-697-7876. Another Tradio caller here has the Renaissance Fair tickets, 4 of them. Yes, 4 of these Renaissance tickets. Good now until August 25th. If anyone is interested, feel free to give them leave them a message. They're $20 a piece. So I was looking to sell them here. That number to dial is 815-895-8332. Again, 815-895-8332. Another Tradio caller here. This is Wood by Jeff. He has some free items here, including garden stakes, canning jars, and fishing lures. And then he also has some pieces of scrap lumber wood at reasonable prices. And it's a couple bucks per foot of wood if anyone is interested. And then he also does have some maple pieces here too. He also has a laser engraving machine for projects. Needs the tube to go with it, worth about $3,000. He's looking to sell it to someone. If anyone out there is interested in using this laser engraving machine, great for projects and even just for fun activities to do for yourself with the laser engraving machine if you like doing it. And then, of course, he also has the 2 tornado shelters as well, too. So feel free to reach out to him. This is Wood by Jeff in Elburn. That is 630-365-9488. Again, that's 630-365-9488 is that number to dial. Another Tradio caller here has the 2 bowling balls for sale with the bags included for $75 or best offer. And then if you want to learn to play the banjo, or maybe you're a collector of different instruments, they also have a banjo with a case for it that comes with it for $100 put together. You can leave a message after the beep if she does not answer. That number is 847-741-1205. Again, that's 847-741-1205. Another Tradio caller here has that 2004 Toyota Sienna. Now, this is a minivan here, asking $2,500 on it, but they are negotiable on the price. Good tires and good brakes, and you can even come on out and test drive it too if you'd like. Very nice. If anyone's interested, he also has a heavy-duty filing cabinet. It's solid wood, very nice condition, 4 drawers, 6 foot long by 2 feet tall by 2 feet wide. $65 is the asking price. He also has for $65 a full-size Toyota spare tire. He can send you pictures. Feel free to give him a call. That's 224-735-1674. Again, 224-735-1674. We have Westside Fred here, and he's going to be a guest on my show coming up pretty soon. I'm looking forward to it. That will be coming up here. That is on Friday the 26th. So he'll come around during my show for a little an interview around 3:30 or so. So I'm looking forward to that, to discuss with him a little bit more about it's the upcoming event that's coming up here. I believe it's at the Greater Grace Community Church as well too. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to talking about that. We actually do have flyers available in Redemption Center. Feel free to come by tomorrow, pick it up too if you'd like. And it's the Greater Grace Community Church Mark Avenue Fiesta Fun Fest coming up Saturday, July 27th from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. It includes food, games, live music, and prizes. Yes. For more information, you can visit their Facebook page at GGCC Life or go to their website, which is ggcc.church. So there you go. Very nice. That is in Redemption Center if you want to pick it up tomorrow. Very nice. Let's see here. Continuing on with the Tradio calls, because we still have a couple minutes left here before we wrap it up here for the show. We have Greg. He has those custom wheels. They're Fox Chrome rims, a lot of tread. Rims are pitted, 18-inch off a 2016 Mustang, asking $250 or similar offer on that. He also, of course, is looking to buy those bicycles from the late 1800s, running to the 1950s, 60s, and 70s. Parts, pieces, and or accessories. It can be Schwinn bicycles, paraphernalia. It can be in any condition. He's also looking for the vintage Omega watches, including also diver-style watches, men's diver-style watches. And then also here, he's looking for preferably women's watches when it comes to the Omega watches. He's a collector, not a dealer. He'll pay a fair price on them too. Feel free to give him a call. That's 847-884-6033. Again, 847-884-6033. Another Tradio caller here. Still looking for the one-bedroom apartment for rent in the Elgin area or Greater Fox River area. If anyone's interested, that number is 630-776-1427. Again, that's 630-776-1427. We also still have Anne-Marie here looking to sell some of these holiday items that are still in packages, including Halloween, Christmas, Thanksgiving, costumes, props, and photo holiday backdrops. $3 each on the holiday items, or she can also do bundle deals. And then she also has a kitchen playset for $5. If anyone's interested, that number is 630-666-3792. Again, 630-666-3792. That's the number to call. That does wrap it up here for the Tradio announcements. But again, we still have a couple minutes left, so don't forget, feel free to visit our website, WRMN1410.com. If you want to hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell, you can always keep up to date in the loop with what's happening here with WRMN. Thank you to everyone for listening in today, and or also, of course, commenting live on YouTube or calling in today. We appreciate it, of course, always. Again, our website is WRMN1410.com. If you do want to take a look at our weekly lineup, that is available towards the center of the page. Also, a link to the weekend lineup is also posted on there, too, for Saturdays on WRMN and also Sundays on WRMN as well. Stay tuned, of course, coming up this Saturday for Radio Shopping Show, 8 a.m. till noon. You know I do those special steals of deals, and I do have something in mind for Wisconsin Dells that I'm going to be putting together extra special here, and I know that you folks out there are going to enjoy it since we are getting closer to the month of August already. Summer is still here. It is not gone yet, but I know that it is getting closer to the fall season. Eventually, at least, I mean, getting back into the school season here too. I've already seen, at places like the Dollar Tree, the Dollar Store, or Walgreens, school supplies. So school supplies are already starting to come out again, which I hated when I was in school. And I was, a little kid in school. I already saw the school supplies. I'm like, no, I don't want that. So, it's getting closer to that time as the days go by. So I encourage you still some places to go to, of course. I will, of course, the door's open. So we'll have redemption so you can come by. Especially if you do want that the EAA Air Venture of Oshkosh. I will do a very good steep discount on that one just because we have a limited amount of those in stock. They're family 4-packs, but I'm going to really do a good discount on those for you folks out there. So if you are interested, I will be in-house 12 to 3 at 1607. You can also call with any questions too. We've got our phone lines up and running again here for the office number 847-741-7700. Again, that's 847-741-7700. There you go. Got that nice jazz music playing in here. So this does wrap it up here for the Midday Drive with Matt. Thank you to Bill Pellerino for joining in, educating me a little bit more on some music. I mean it when I say, keeping my word to it. I want to listen to the songs. I think it's gonna be cool. I really like that the Rain one. That was nice. The nice intro to it, get you into it. I like it. I like those longer intros. Those are cool. So stay tuned. I'll be back on the airwaves again from 3 to 6 tomorrow. Have a wonderful rest of your night, everybody.